speak common in time for a banquet for creatures that he disrespects. God damn it.
Oh no.
I guess if he starts to mouth off, I can't always make him disintegrate till I reform him. That'd be kind of rude to him.
It's a good punishment.
Where's Tyrion? Prison. Oh.
Bring him in, just walk in, he's silent the whole time, you get up to the gang and he's like, fuck you, jackass! Just what the...
You fucking wankers! You're killing my kind all the time! Why you want my gold so bad? It's my fucking bed!
I just imagine if like a pet bed for my familiar in my room, it's just like a bunch of gold coins.
Oh god.
Do you think that's just too funny? The tiny Andre, he's just like, feels the same, I guess.
Oh my fucking... This tiny ass bed of gold coins. Oh.
Alright.
What is this? Alright,
Alright.
so I
Gold
guess
coins everywhere.
are we
Alright, so I imagine you all get ready now. And well, you go to bed, make sure everything's set and ready.
Mhm.
I should find a damn token for Tyrion's familiar.
I also mentioned to Flick that
Mhm.
we cannot teleport back without without another circle.
A permanent
I can
circle.
I can draw one that'll get us to our destination, but we're either gonna have to walk back or you're gonna need to get a teleportation circle that leads to somewhere near here for us to get home fast.
Flick just says, I'll take everything.
Visibly distressed.
All the books.
Wait 1 second. I actually might have something that could physically help with this. Let me go look it up real quick.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have it?
Okay. Oh wait, that's 10 minutes. I don't know if Flick could stall for 10 minutes. Okay. I could prepare a scroll for you of Amenonesis that would let you copy all writing perfectly.
Okay.
It would take 10 minutes for you to do. Yeah, I guess you could just steal all the books and put them back after. Yeah?
I could take the books and then bring them to you, and you do that Mano Casino ritual.
Having trouble pronouncing it.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I'll go visit Ritual Man and, be his favorite customer.
He's like, you're putting my 8 kids through college.
Alright, so yeah. Tyrion, he's pretty damn happy to keep seeing you all the time.
One of these days I won't visit this much when I have most of your rituals, right?
Yes, but you still buy everything I have. Oh god. Alright, so you go and purchase that. You bring it back and you prepare the scroll for Flick, unless you're going to do it for yourself.
I mean, I'm just figuring that Flick wouldn't be able to get the books to me during the party. This is probably going to be the only time we're actually going to be on the royal grounds, and getting me to a place where I can't be stealthy while I do this. I'll have a shitload of books on. I mean, there'll be arcane runes flying through the air. It'd be like, what the fuck's going on over there? Why do you have the teleportation circle records in the middle of the party?
So, Flick, are you going to give him the scroll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, you just have to read this, and it'll do it for you.
Okay.
Make sure you have a blank book nearby. So we need to go visit the store again.
Yes. Yes.
Not that store. It can be any store that sells paper.
Show up at the virtual components again. Oh,
I just
yes,
saw you in
yes!
it.
It's so wonderful.
I'll make it a point not to go back.
Just getting like angrier and angrier at this point. Like I keep fucking forgetting shit.
On the walk to the store, I'm gonna turn to my familiar and ask him. No, I never actually got your name. Do you remember it?
Putting the DM on the spot.
I discussed doing this earlier. I'm putting him on the spot that much.
He looks to you and he's trying to think for a moment. He starts to say, "K." I think it was Keckle.
I mean, it doesn't sound right. That's what you think it is.
And he looks for. You can tell he has like a sense of confusion on his face. Like, why can't I remember my name?
I'll probably come back to you later. You were dead for a while.
And it's like, you're right. It should come back. So he would he acknowledge at this point that he he realizes that you're wearing his skin?
I mean, if you can't remember his own name, I don't think you might notice that it's dragon hide. And
Yeah. He would just basically compliment you and like, yeah, that's a really nice hide.
I think that's gonna get awkward.
Oh god.
I mean, he was no. Actually, in my defense, he was reproduced out of one of the scales, so I absolutely refuse for him to be angry at my use of his scales. So yeah, I'll go buy a blank book from the store.
Alright, yeah. So
Or just a wad of blank paper. They probably don't sell blank books.
you can go and get some blank parchment, and you could find a journal, like a blank book.
I'll probably work.
Blank books are not unusual, especially so many people like to keep records and research.
All right, Mr. Flick, here you go.
Thanks.
It's gonna be a long night.
So you have that already.
Cool.
Anything else before bed and then the banquet?
I don't have anything else.
Alright. So,
Rowan and Magnus, the two soon to depart.
Sorry, I've been on mute for most of the time because it sounds like a fucking military procession is going past.
yeah, I was kind of wondering what
All I've been able to hear is planes and helicopters for the past couple of
Hello,
minutes.
Burger King employees.
Jesus Christ.
They
What's
do
that
that.
smell? I don't know what the fuck that smell is. Someone probably died underneath my room.
Oh no.
We have a big crawl space underneath the house, and sometimes stuff dies under it.
Alright.
Alright. Let the banquet games begin.
Alright, so I would imagine you guys don't get up too early, just normal time.
I mean, banquets probably don't happen till like afternoon and later.
Yeah, usually later in the afternoon. That and just gives you time to get ready and start heading towards the castle whenever need be. It would be around 3 o'clock when the banquet starts. So you guys get up and get set for that. Yeah.
Shove the spider head into my bag.
Fucking monstrous, massive spider head.
Oh
Jeez.
I
god.
love that bag.
So where is it?
So at least I know how the gemstone works. I know that the Rowan didn't get hurt while she had hers, so that means that I could use myself as a. Could be a good like close thing. Like I hit myself with like a low damage attack, something higher. I'll have to test it again when I'm not, about to die.
Yeah, like maybe if
The
you
best
hold
time
it,
to tamper with crazy magics that you don't understand.
yeah, maybe if you hold it, it won't hurt you.
Yeah, because if it doesn't, then that would actually be a decent thing to use.
We should have tested that.
I mean, it obviously still hurt when it was in the area, but only Rowan's been holding hers so far when it went off.
Hmm.
Yeah, alright. And they really went all out revamping this castle. It's all black. Oh, never mind. There we go.
What?
I have a bad feeling about this. There's a map and character tiles for everybody.
Oh, snap.
They all it's just like a warped picture. Like faces just shunt away. They're all vampires.
Oh god.
Doors lock. I hope you have bonuses to diplomacy. They all say as they get up.
So, as you walk in, Taryn, you obviously, even though you're familiar, doesn't have much memory. He's still looking proud with his little top hat, chest puffed out while sitting on your shoulder.
That sounds so adorable.
Obviously, Mala Magnus, he's just almost kind of steal the scene, dressed and decked out in their fine noble's clothes and jewelry. Rowan still wearing her full-on armor, now finally polished and clean, absolutely sparkling and radiant.
With the cape flowing in the non-existent breeze.
Flick, you have your cape flowing with your new noble's garb, which I would imagine is a little odd for you at first, since you haven't really worn something like that too much, I would imagine.
Yep.
So, but obviously you seem like you've practiced for this kind of moment.
Yeah, he's been practicing a lot.
And as you walk in, there's actually a Warforged butler that greets you, aside from all the guards when you walk into the banquet hall. He's like, I assume you're the Gold Hounds. You seem to fit the description very well.
Yes.
And he just bows, and everyone here calls me Bardis. Please, follow me to your seats.
Your appearance does not make you look very friendly.
Is he standing like that with legs apart and arms out? Like,
No, not like
It looks
that.
like he's ready to tear you into your asshole. Just like, good afternoon.
As you're walking around, you can see all the butlers and everyone who's serving drinks and the maids and waitresses running back and forth. There's some food already set up. A lot of the nobles and other ladies have already arrived early. A few, obviously, it looks like they've been the ones that also help with the defense of the city. You could see,
Flick gives this guy a thumbs up as he walks by.
and you can just see Xylus nod. There's a whole mix of people here. There's elves, there's humans. You see a dwarf over there laughing with another dragonborn, and from what you see, Rowan, you recognize it's the cloaked man from the carnival.
really?
Yes.
Fascinating.
There are other dragonborn. But yes, everyone's just decked out in their best armor. You can hear chatty, what looks like to be a half-elf at the far top there over to the left, right next to a tiefling as well. Bardis also finally leads you over to your chairs. He's like, these seats were reserved for the Gold Hound specifically. I hope you enjoyed the feast.
Thank you, Mr. Bardis.
And he,
Alright if I call you Mr.?
please, just Bardis. I'm
Alright.
not worthy of such titles.
Everybody's worthy of an honorary. I'll take the ending seat because I'm adding some off. I want to sit next to each other.
But everyone everyone's chatting up. There's plates already set out, some food and selections to already start taking from, a few pitchers of ale, some glasses of wine. The Warforged butler starts heading back to the front door in case somebody else has arrived.
I was gonna ask him before he left. Mr. Bard? Not Mr. Bardus?
Yeah. He walks over and says, yes, sir. What, is there anything I can get for you?
No, I was just wanted to ask. We had a bit of a gift for the king. I'm not used to these kind of events. When do we present that?
Oh, if you wish to present a gift to the king, you can go and talk to one of the two guards over by the braziers, but just at the steps, and see if it would be alright to give it to him now.
I'll talk to him in a bit. Thank you very much.
Very well, sir. And he starts walking off again.
Flick will say to Taryn, if you want me to do it, I will.
Don't mind doing it, but if you want to do it with me, sure.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be best if we went as a group?
Yes.
But,
Oh, it's my
Yeah.
familiar.
oh, there he is with his top hat.
Oh my god, does he actually have top hat?
Yep.
Zooming in. Zooming
Yeah,
in.
he totally does.
Oh my god, he does.
Gee.
I couldn't resist.
He needed it.
So he kind of just sits on the edge of the table, you know, just looking proud and majestic.
Flick says to you, Taryn, does he do any tricks as Flick, like, tosses a piece of meat, like, kind of up over the little familiar's head? And if the familiar doesn't catch it, it totally lands on Malo's, like, breasts.
Oh god. So he doesn't even like flip his head back because he doesn't want to lose his hat. He actually reaches out with a wing and catches it with the little claw at the tip of the wing, and then eats it that way.
Wow, he's fast.
You set yourself up, you asshole. God damn.
Because I was doing, like, one of those, like, think fast type motions.
Yeah, I know.
He's fast.
You know, he does speak common. You can actually talk to him.
Really? Flick will just kind of ponder that.
Anyways, it's better early than never. Might as well get the gift out of the way before we're all
Okay.
settled. Let's go.
Oh, shit. Wait. Hey, Taryn,
Yeah,
what about the library? Shouldn't I be doing that?
we've got all evening.
But while you're making a good distraction.
Hey, yeah, sure.
Okay, which side was it on?
I don't remember. Why don't you go ask the captain of the guard?
Fuck that.
He was the one that gave us the idea in the first place.
It's so risky. Do we remember what he told us, like, in character?
He just said the library.
Yeah, he said
I
that the
thought
library was near the banquet hall. No one ever asked him like which direction.
All right, I'm gonna sit down and channel sending in the middle of a party.
So how would that look? Like,
I mean, okay, wait. Let me go bring it up. Look at the specifics. All right. So I mean, it might look like I was reading a book, but like, I could just sort of like view it as like me, kind of like just staring at the wall.
alright, so you're staring at the wall and doing a sending message.
Like, if anyone asks, I'm concentrating on something important.
Okay.
You can see a few people who are actually using magic, so it's not too unheard of if you're doing a spell. It's just a little funny that you're just staring at a wall while doing it. You can actually see across the way. It looks like a woman is kind of just reading into her research notes, trying to control water.
In the middle of a banquet.
Maybe
Maybe-
they're doing,
maybe.
like,
You can actually
party
s-
tricks.
Yeah, you could actually see a court wizard up here, like, keeping the lighting, everything perfect, controlling the braziers with magic, And
That's cool.
just different announcements. Obviously, there'd be protection spells here. They're not gonna just, freely let you cast like destruction spells and stuff like that. Anything like fireballs and ice.
Yeah.
Willy nilly.
And I figured as much where they're like seated across from the king.
Obviously, up front in the slightly raised area of the banquet hall, you could see the king next to his extremely regally dressed queen, all covered in golden rings and her golden goblet and wine glasses and everything. You see a few knights and a couple of armored female knights as well up at the banquet table. A few a little more posh and obviously more pronounced. It's not their regular armor, it's their, banquet armors that show off their craftsmanship and their air and right nobility. Some that are just very important figureheads in the city as well. Others that could possibly be representatives from outside the city for other factions that might be around that would be allied with Waterdeep and other cities as well. And you could also see two on the far right, a little oddly dressed compared to most people. The man on the far right with the blue hair actually seems like he's kind of from a different land himself, with more of a regal metal to his dressings. Almost like something you would see kind of like to an Egyptian style headdress and vest and clothing, along with his, well, you would assume what it would be his wife, since he's freely, holding her close, talking to her, whispering to her directly, all dressed perfectly in a beautiful white gown and a nice gem tiara and gems up and down her clothes. The other two beside him, very stern looking. It looks like they take everything extremely serious, especially for even this matter, especially being a happy part. You could tell the man is just scanning the crowd constantly, almost like he's on alert. And then you can see the king occasionally saying a few things here and there to the queen. He's looking over a book. Let's see, roll me perceptions.
Yeah.
That's not what I expected. I am concentrating. In fact, I probably shouldn't even have gotten a perception check. I'm reading.
Oh, bam! Flick is on point tonight.
Mm-hmm. Alright. So. Alright, so Flick, everyone else is trying to get a sight of what the book is in his hands, because it's a little bit of distance away.
Whose book is it? Where?
The king is holding the book.
Oh.
And
this guy?
Yep. He's in the full green robe and the gold crown.
Cool.
And you could actually see, Flick, that it's your Goldhounds book.
Oh god.
Okay.
Oh god.
He's a fan!
Yeah.
I told you you were famous.
Flick will just kind of whisper to the group, like, "Oh my god, the king is reading our book."
Damn, I don't have a morale token. Otherwise, I'd just be like, just do the, I told you he was famous. Lean over the shoulder.
Stealth check into the party. I told you he was famous.
I
Before
told you.
disappearing in a puff of
Told
smoke.
you you were famous.
Rowan
Like
goes, oh, like crosses her legs.
They're all for to see.
I mean, it would be in written form, so you would just mention that you were.
Who knows how
Yeah.
detailed they went, but anyway.
Well, it only has Magnus's recounting of it.
That's what I meant. Magnus saw was like her nude.
I imagine it would have sold a lot more if it had Flick or Rowan's perspective.
Jesus Christ.
Oh god.
If it had Rowan's perspective, it would be game over. That book would be billions of dollars for you guys.
We would just quit adventuring and just live on piles of money.
The lusty knight.
Oh god.
The lusty
The
knight.
lusty paladin. The lusty paladin.
God damn it.
It's like the Argonian maid in
Yeah.
Skyrim. It's just in every
Yeah.
person's house.
Yeah.
Oh,
That would be
The
awesome.
subtext is it's actually quite loose.
oh god. So, beside the king on his right, you could see a very well armored, plated elven woman. You could tell she's very happy with the situation that everyone feasting and having a banquet. She doesn't look like she's from Waterdeep herself as well. Can't really get a read on exactly where she'd be from, but it wouldn't be too far, especially since the armor style seems close to the same. Oh, God. So, the other two to the left, oh God.
That's a rhetorical question. You don't have to answer that.
No, I'm just looking at something else.
Okay.
They look like people, Tyrion. You trying to be racist?
Well, I'm trying to concentrate. I'm just tossing in random asides to his description while I'm, doing sending in the middle of a banquet.
As Tyrion's concentrating, I want to elbow him and point over to this dude and be like, "What do you make of that? This
My
dude's
flames.
on fire."
My flames will go higher. It is flame measuring contest.
Oh God. Well,
Go
that would be a
super
little complicated with your top hat, but
It just bursts off.
I should have gotten a
Shoots off.
fireproof top hat. That would have been so sick. Damn, why didn't I think of that? I feel like have an always on fire top hat. It's like I'm from TF2.
so the lady beside the elf, she seems like the sorcerer type. You can actually see a small air of magic about her, even her clothes. Even though they would probably fall off a normal person, seem to be held on, possibly by magical means. And
nice.
Nice.
And then you can see a man dressed in heavy hides. It's completely covered in hide armor. It's so well done and hard leather that it looks almost like plate mail. That it looks very druidic in nature. And especially the helm is very pronounced with the fine staghorns sticking out of the top of it. And you see he just has what looks like a walking cane or a stick, kind of like a bow staff on his back, but a little gnarled and haggard, almost like it was just naturally picked from the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And then the man on the far left, you can see he's full gold armor, full red cloak flowing with gold frills at the bottom of it. He's extremely well decked out. He's very obvious, he's posh and a lot of money in his family. He actually does look like he's from Waterdeep, from the style of the armor and the make, especially just the way he carries himself and shows off his money. And the last part is behind them all. You can actually see what looks like the king's personal bodyguard standing at about 7 feet tall, completely covered in gold and white plate mail. Not a single part of him showing. He's just completely covered from head to toe. And wearing a massive full blade on his back. You can tell this person is either irregularly strong or even the magic, the armor is magic itself to help him carry such a weapon.
Not that I'm really complaining. Full blades are pretty badass.
Other than that, you can tell that obviously a lot of people at this party decked out in their armor. Plenty of them have their swords. Some are show swords, you know, just very regal, finely done, polished to a gleaming shine. And then the one odd thing is that a lot of the banquet guards at the doors and entryway, even though they're wearing full gold armor and gold and white armor with the full head helmet plumes, it doesn't seem like they are wearing any kind of weapons. It might be hidden. Maybe they just aren't allowed while in the main banquet hall watching over the party not to have weapons, just because it's a party of nobles, out of respect. You do have a fine spread before you, plenty of food to start eating, and so we'll go back to Tyrion, who's staring at the statue over to his right. And
Trying to make it look very inconspicuous that I have, you know,
like he's just like you're just admiring the statue itself.
for way too long.
So
10 minutes.
So what would be the things you say you're sending?
Good evening, Mr. Sunderheart. We were wondering where the library was from the banquet hall.
Alright. So he gets that. He kind of sits there for a moment, and it definitely looks like he's trying to mouth it and whisper it, so it's not very obvious. And he says the library is to the right of the banquet hall. Actually, closest to it now. The hallway next to you.
Alright. Well, I mean, I can't say that back, but confirming.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna whisper, like, down the hall. The one we're closest to.
Okay, I'll get it.
Actually, you know what? No, I'm just gonna point my thumb at the. You know what? Actually, no.
That
Whispering's
is a
probably a lot
nice
less
statue.
inconspicuous. Yeah, that's a nice statue, don't you think, Flick? Maybe.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah. All right. Why don't we go present our gift to the king?
Make your way to the king.
Excuse me, Ron.
Launches ahead of time.
Magnus and Mala, you wanna come visit with nobility that are apparently too good for their own captain of the guard.
Yeah.
It's just freaking weird that he isn't up there. I mean, maybe with the old traitor dispute with his daughter.
Up there? That's not Lady Isabel.
No. I'm referring to the Mr. Sunderheart not being up with the rest of them at the head of the table next to the king.
Oh,
I would have figured the captain of the guard would hold a prestigious enough position to sit with them, not like right next to the king, but it's, nearby. Or hell, maybe even serving as one of the bodyguards.
Yeah. Magnus, are you gonna go up?
I think he's AFK.
Oh, okay.
Or muted.
Oh, shut up. I am neither of those things.
Then why don't you be one of those things?
Oh, come on.
So we'll do the presentation first, and then go over to Flick and just do it as if we were having some fun.
Okay.
So
I'm going to approach this guy.
he
I'm
bows respectfully, my lords.
gonna bow back, even if it isn't custom, I don't care. It's respect. I have a gift for the king from the Golden Hounds. It is a head of one of the great beasts we slayed while defending the city, and we was hoping that he would accept it and hang in one of his halls, perhaps.
And he nods and I'll inform the king. Please wait. And obviously goes up and
Not at all puzzled that I said I have a gigantic ass head, and yet I don't have it on me.
Hey, he's used to magic, right? Actually, Josh, I'm curious. Is what the people like what they're wearing? Is that what they're wearing?
Yeah.
Okay, so Rowan actually walks forward to this paladin and goes, "A paladin of Iomade. You come from the same lands that I do. How strange. I didn't expect to see a fellow." What did we decide the name of the land was? I don't remember.
I don't think we decided on the name of the land.
Oh, okay.
She actually has a smile come over her face. And you would still have your Caden Clean symbol, right?
No, it's the mug. I don't. I gave the mug to. I've given the mug to. What's his name?
Cool.
Yeah.
So she actually looks surprised that you actually know what this is. She's like, I haven't met anyone in the city who actually knows my symbol. Where? I would say where you came from, but obviously.
Right. Rowan goes. Was a paladin of Caden Clean.
I was surprised one of his followers had made it so far out.
I'm surprised that a paladin of Iomade made it so far out. I mean, it's suited that you're the King's Guard. I mean, honor and all that, but my goodness, it is refreshing to see someone from home.
And she nods. And I originally was sent as an envoy, but I had saved the king's life, and he asked for me to stay and made quite a nice tie between the lands for us.
A noble deed. I'm sure Iomade smiles.
And the guardsman nods and he says, "Yes, you may go present your gift. The king would like to see what you brought from defending the city. He seems to be quite excited to meet you."
Alright. Hopefully he doesn't ask where Fleck is.
Using the lavatory.
Yeah, I know, but I'll have to bluff check the king. I don't want to have to bluff check the king. That's a bad idea.
That's a cool symbol too.
Yep.
Iomade?
Yeah, Iomade is. I'm second favorite Pathfinder god. Anyways.
Go figure.
It is nice. I do like it.
Yeah, the sword with the holy light for a handle. Nope, that's really nice. So they're letting you pass up. Obviously, the court wizard's still keeping an eye on everything. You can see him on his little.
Is this
boat.
the court?
Yeah. You can see him maintaining his magic. Obviously, it seems like he's preventing most of the dangerous magics to come through, and just keeping an eye on things as well.
If I wouldn't like if I lit my head on fire, then.
I mean, that other guy's on fire.
Well, you would definitely know the Ganassi, body of fire. That's literally his form.
Oh, he's actually a Ganassi? Cool.
I think it's Ganassi. What was Zane? I can't remember.
I pronounce it Gensai, but...
Gensai. Either one, I'll accept it.
I'm pretty sure it's Ganassi. Pretty sure.
I haven't looked at the name enough to remember. I always just called it Gensai in my head.
Well,
I never read it.
It's spelled Ganassi, so that's your first problem with Gensai.
Excuse me, I'm the king of mispronunciation.
Mispronunciation?
I will kill you. They will never find the body.
So,
you could settle on a middle ground and say Ganassi.
oh god. So you can actually see the king stand up, which is a very big honor itself, just the simple fact that he could stand up to greet you as you approach.
Wow.
And you could see quite clearly he's still holding the book in his hand.
Come, don't stand on the stairs all day.
As I get up to, reasonably even with the table, I'll start to bow.
And
Like-
he kind of just gives you a small nod in respect. Your dragon with you, sitting on your shoulder, I imagine.
It's what he wants.
looks at all you like, the wonderful and well fabled so far, Gold Hounds. I must say, I'm very excited to meet you all. I've been reading over your tales here. I've been so happy the contractor had given you such a mission. Slaying a dragon. It's no small feat, no matter how young. And I must say, I'm very glad you had rid the city of a hazard such as a dragon, and especially saving so many people from the trade route bandits and dismantling such a large group. Oh god. Oh god. So you're gonna leave your dragon familiar behind? You really sitting on your shoulder?
No, I'm just saying, like, because he's referring to killing the dragon.
Well, he doesn't have full memory of that either.
Yeah, I know, but I still feel bad for it. It is so interesting, Your Grace, that you find our adventures so pleasing. Interesting enough to actually pay attention to.
Well, so many people here. Quite the exploits, but it's refreshing to see such new faces unspoiled by evil or corruption of greed, and just simply helping the people out.
Rowan kind of whispers under her breath, "Good thing Flick's not here."
You hear a faint across the room. Ha!
We're supposed to be sneaking. I should have taken that telepathic link thing, so I could have done that to you.
Yeah, totally.
Oh god.
I'll have to get that before we leave. Make the ritual guy even happier.
He looks at all of you. He's like, I see one of your friends are not with you, but I do hope he stops by. I was hoping to get all of you to sign your book before you leave tonight.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be able to stop by in a bit. He's busy.
And he looks and yes, I see Agnes and Lady Monlove and Iris. What's the word? Inseparable. It's so nice to see true love blossoming in the city. He looks over to you, Magnus. Don't be surprised. I went around asking most of the city guard, and I had heard how you'd helped that fight off the giant spiders, and whatever crazed cultist was on the roof there. And he looks over to Rowan. I must say, that's a lot of bravery to take on someone so fiendish.
Rowan kind of clenches her fist.
And he just... you say that out loud? Or
I failed.
Alright. He looks at you, he's like, nonsense. You chased the man out before you could do any more harm and possibly use the beast in a more fiendish way. And you kept my guards safe, and that I thank you, and that is no failure.
Rowan gives a slight bow and says, "You're too kind."
And you were too brave sometimes. And
oh god, is he referring to the...
and he looks down at Sarah and he says, well, even though there were some damages, it's not too surprising with a man of your capabilities. Well, I should say dragon.
Your Grace, speaking of the spider, that kind of brings me to the thing I had to give you. I hope it doesn't necessarily put you off your food. It is a bit weird looking.
I'm actually very interested to see this now. What is it?
I'm gonna take the giant spider head out of the bag and just put it on my shoulder.
People start barfing and screaming like the women.
Women faint. Some men faint. Everyone
It's
faints.
medieval times. I'd imagine it isn't that scary.
You can see the woman in red beside the queen. Kind of
Beside the queen.
queen is kind of a little squeamish at the. She's a little squeamish at this. The man behind, beside her, kind of like puts an arm around her as she kind of like averts her eyes. The elf is just kind of laughing and smiles and nods her head in an approving fashion. The druid just remains completely silent. That's the queen. Are you?
I figured.
Stop poking your tits.
I'm fondling the queen.
From a distance, I'm fondling.
Mage hand.
Fondling. Alright. So you could actually see the king. He's actually kind of ecstatic. He's like, I was wondering what happened to the head of that beast. I was hoping to make a trophy and a nice little tale to add to the history of Waterdeep. And he gladly accepts it. He waves for the court wizard to come down and take it. So he,
Is it like he can hold it? This thing probably weighs a bit.
so he holds out his hands. So how do you end it to him, sir?
Gently place it in his hands and then slowly let my hands off of it.
So as he kind of strains a little bit, it looks very surprised that you were holding this so easily.
Oh yeah.
He,
Well, as a wizard, he probably knows that one disc spell, right?
yeah,
Yes.
you could actually
Takes
see.
10 minutes to manifest it though.
Yeah, but you can see he does a nice little spell and it lightens up very nicely. You could tell this man's extremely well versed in magic.
Hmm.
And he walks over to the gifts table to set it down for later display.
Setting it down next to all the gifts. It's like wine and like nice harp maybe, and then a spider head.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
And the king recollects himself. He's like, I'm not sure if you possibly heard my name, but I'm Mikhail II, and this is my Queen Imelda. And she bows courteously from her chair, just a slight nod.
Rowan.
I bow back.
Now it's back.
Yeah. Let's just keep bowing. Bow, 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 bow. Just catch on fire.
And you get a bow, and you get a bow.
Everybody gets a bow.
Accidentally headbutt the table and set it on fire with your flame hair. Which-
I don't have that
I
on.
know.
That's
Just
dangerous.
it would be funny if you did. So
Magnus is not a knob, so he's only going to bow once, and I'm going to decide when that is.
Well then.
And
I just take it on courtesy to bow whenever somebody else bows.
he looks back to you excitedly. The king, the queen, is like looking you over, kind of just like analyzing and scrutinizing, and with that, the king kind of just turns back and he almost kind of like nervously, because she seems so like off-standish. Asks, is like, it would be too soon to ask for your signatures on the book. I would love to have a copy of your autographs.
Oh, no.
Oh, not at all.
I'd be honored.
And he, you can see he actually has the ink and quill, like, there and ready, because he was expecting to see you tonight.
Wow.
Damn.
This guy is like.
Must be good to be the king in an area where you want somebody's autograph. You're just like, give me an autograph. Oh. You're in prison.
Invite them to a banquet. Oh, I'd love to get your autograph, and they like leave without giving it to you. Send them to jail.
Till he gives me his autograph, he gets no food.
So he puts the book down on the table. I imagine you will, one after another, sign as well.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, he just says, please be sure to send, Flick. up here. I would love to get his as well.
I'll be sure to make sure that he makes it up here.
And he smiles and has a seat. So, at this point, I would imagine you know that he would be dismissed at this point.
Yeah.
And, so now, while that was all going on, we're going over to Flick.
Not Flick can turn invisible, which I'm pretty sure he can. So, wait, that's somewhere here. Are you getting accosted by a barmaid?
Butler.
So I would first I'd just like to kind of just talk to this guard and just kind of ask him like, hey, can I go down there? Like, see if it's even okay.
He's just says, of course, my lord. There's no one stopping me.
Of course.
He nods and walks down.
It's very obvious. Like, people like to walk around and see the few like art decorations and other things there in the castle itself.
Well, since everyone's being cool with him, Flick will just be like, a library, and kind of rub his hands together and kind of stroll in.
The lady there, oh god, kind of stops. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, my lord. The library is off limits without permission of the king.
Okay, can I bluff her? I want to say that I already talked to the king.
Yeah, roll me a bluff.
Oh God.
Because I'll explain, of course, that we came here to meet him and that we're the Gold Hounds.
Everyone floating around. Rowan, I see you there, you spy.
I just wanted to see it. This map is really big.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna walk around the castle, not in character, but I just want to see what the rest of the tiles look like.
It's really cool.
She, and keep in mind, this is the only female guard you've seen so far, aside from the one right before the king's table.
Mm-hmm.
She looks at you for a minute, and she kind of hesitates. She's like, well, I would imagine you got permission then, since the king's not too far away. I'm sorry for impeding you, my lord. And she lets you pass.
I say, thank you, and I hope you have thank you. I hope you have a wonderful night. And just kind of stroll in.
She bows as you're going.
Okay.
You could definitely hear somebody's working what sounds like an alchemy project at the far northern end. You could see all the different volumes of books lining the walls, different scrolls sticking out. That's obvious. Information's taken in and put in. It's a mixture.
Okay, I'll try looking around for the books I'm looking for.
So roll me perception on that. Just so as you're searching around. And double check. How many books were you looking for specifically?
Well, anything to do with teleportation circles.
Alright, so yeah, you're just searching and search at this point. You do find the teleportation bookcase, like just different teleportation magics and a few scrolls. You can see them down here. They are a little close to the man who's working on some alchemy. You don't find anything that kind of sticks out from what you can see. You would have to get a little closer than that.
Okay. So I'm gonna, before I go up there, I want to like snuff out this torch. So it's
That
a
is
little
suspicious.
well. So it's a little dark out here. Hey, torches go out all the time because I can hide in the darkness.
You snuff that one out. It still seems a little bright. There are quite a few torches in here because they just, library. Well, obviously the king likes to read if he has your book.
Yeah.
So keep snuffing out a few torches.
Yeah. Just to where it's like dim light. It's like at least dim in this area.
On getting caught, I read better in the dark.
It's probably going to be a little hard, but let's see. With those few, yeah, it would definitely be dim light at this point, because the few cracks of light that are coming through are either through the very top of books that, you know, could see through the double side of the library bookshelves.
Yeah.
It's nicely dimly lit.
Yeah, if you want me to roll stealth, I can.
Yeah, roll me stealth, because this guy's working, but he's obviously not blind.
Oh, fuck. Have to roll 4, of course.
So that's actually just enough.
Thank God.
That was horrible.
You kind of, like, as you're coming over, like, you go to look, you, like, basically touch just one scroll, it, like, pops open in your ear, and he assumes it was, like, one of his papers knocking over. He's looking on the floor and picks up a few books here and there. So you would definitely be able to get over to the bookshelf pretty easily.
Oh, it's this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so I guess I will try to narrow it down quickly, like which book it would be.
So just the one that sticks out to you the most?
Yeah, and anything labeled like, you know, about teleportation circles.
Alright, so the one that most valued to the
Close.
information you're looking for. So, funny, roll me a thievery for that one. Because you're trying to be quick about this one.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Probably the one that has the most value. Oh, fuck.
Yes.
Alright, so you see one that's very old and dusty. It's kind of stuck behind all the scrolls. It looks like it was a little forgotten, and it got pressed up against the back. You see, you kind of just slip your hand behind there and just scoop it up. You can see the dust falling off it. You open it up real quick, and you can actually see it has a few listings of permanent teleportation circles throughout the lands that they have listed.
Okay, sweet. I will just pocket that and walk out. I don't have 10 minutes to read a ritual scroll.
Yeah.
It's more up to let the ritual scroll roll. You don't really have to like concentrate.
Well,
Because, I mean,
at least when I'm out of sight of that guy, like maybe like right here.
I mean, from its description, it does sound like it won't be missed anytime soon.
Yeah.
He managed to pick out the one that was kind of crammed in the back there. Especially with a 30, my god.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. Okay, well, I'll walk out.
And you just see, hope you found what you're looking for, my lord.
Too dusty in there.
And I just walk back to the party. I kind of like, I'm stumbling a little bit, like I'm pretending I'm drunk.
Oh god.
So like, you know,
You,
it's not too weird that I...
the elf in red in front of you, just kind of giggling as she sees you stumbling out of the hall.
give her the up nod.
And you can kind of see her blush, and she starts whispering to her twin sister.
Whoa, nice.
Twins? Oh god. Alright. So, do you come back?
Yeah, you guys see me come out.
So,
Yeah, and I'll just sit down and say, how'd it go?
He is apparently a fan, and you should probably go and sign his book, or he'll do some things.
Oh, okay.
And I'll kind of slip Taryn under the table that scroll before I do.
After like you bumping my leg probably 3 times, I'm like, oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
under the table.
Yeah.
you're familiar, would be like, hey, right there.
My leg's getting bumped, dumbass.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
This food's really good. You should try some.
I know, but still. So they see you approach, they nod, like, ask my lord, and then step forward, like, may I help you, my lord?
Flick will just flash the symbol on his cloak, say, Gold Hounds.
Oh, yes. Just let me inform the So he, typical runs up, tells the king, he's obviously excited. He comes back down. He's like, "You may approach, my lord."
And he'll just up nod the dude and walk up
Yo.
and he'll approach the table and say, my lord, my lady.
And the king is very excited at the prospect of you showing up so quickly. He's like, Flick, I'm so happy to meet you. I'm King Michael II. This is my queen, Imelda. And
Pleasure.
She smiles a little bit at you, almost like a knowing smile.
Oh, damn.
And
So Flick will say,
So, you've read about my exploits?
trying to look cool.
Quite a few, I must say. It was very impressive, a man of your stature holding down a dragon so easily.
Yeah, Flick will say, no, I'm not gonna say that.
He's impressed by that.
I gotta be
Despite the
careful.
book would have a first-person recount of the spot where Flick hides behind Magnus to recover from the fucking ice breath.
Yeah, I'm tactical. Well, Flick will just reply,
I've been blessed with great power.
Indeed you have, my friend. I was hoping to get your signature in my book before you left the party tonight. And he sits it down with the inkwell.
okay. Yeah, Flick will sign it and yep.
And he's just nods like, and if you and your friends would like to stay tonight, it'd be a very nice pleasure. Please send a message to them. I forgot. I was so excited to ask them to stay the night.
Interesting. I will tell them.
And he nods and thank you again for your signature. And he sits down.
Okay. I grab one of these oranges on the table as I turn to leave. It's a habit.
I think I poisoned that citrus.
Can't leave without taking something.
Yeah. So you see Flick peeling an orange, and he sits back down.
He's a fan.
The dragon's just sitting there like, yes, Dragon said that before.
Can't believe I taught him
Flick just
God.
looks at the thing like cockeyed, like what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get used to that.
What? Not used to dragons talking? Only he can do it.
That's racist.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh no.
What has begun?
Flick will inform you all.
King said, if any of you want to sleep here, I will pass.
I don't know. From the way that he was interested in us, I'd rather not be sleeping near him.
And Flick whispers,
Especially with stolen goods.
Alright, so we'll take a 5-minute break here.
"Sure,
Get a couple of drinks and all that.
cool."
5-minute break.
Burn down the banquet hall to get out faster.
I'm eager to see how. Oh shit! You know what I just realized? I know how this is gonna go down. How Rowan and Magnus are gonna make their exits. This is the Red Wedding.
Are they gonna get stabbed?
These guys are wearing armor. No.
I'm confused. I don't
The
know what the Red
Lannisters.
Wedding
You don't know what the Red Wedding
Regards.
is? Oh.
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Oh
or
my
whatever.
gosh.
I don't want to spoil it then.
Oh, I already kind of spoiled it.
I pretty much do not really believe. I'm not like all that interested in watching it. You can spoil it if you want.
The Lannisters send their regards.
Yeah, it's like this chick's sitting there and like she notices the dude next to her is wearing like armor underneath his like noble's clothes.
Oh,
And she's
shit.
like, and he like reaches for his sword and like, shit just goes crazy. Like, and
Basically,
just-
what happens is there's a wedding, right? There's supposed to be a wedding between these two people. So they go together, and then they notice that a lot of people are wearing like armor and stuff like that. And then it turns out that, well, basically it's like a rebel faction, and the one of the two parties that was getting married decided to betray them. So it was just like they invited the entire rebel faction, their entire army and stuff like that. And when everyone was happy getting drunk, they just murdered all of them.
Jesus Christ, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then the leader of the rebel faction had a like a wife, concubine type person who had a baby, and they just stab her baby,
Yeah, it's
and
fucked
just
up.
inside of the womb, just like
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
it's like, oh god, it's
hardcore.
brutal, man.
Funnily enough, it was like less brutal in the books.
I mean, I can say that about a lot of scenes. Like,
That girl, she was not brought to the wedding. She was never there. She just she was off somewhere else and just never got brought up again.
GG.
She wasn't nearly as important in the books. The whole point of it was like the dude that was supposed to marry one of the lords of that place that killed them all. The guy was supposed to marry one of his daughters, and then he ended up with this other chick. They're like, fuck you.
wait, so the king just invited us to stay that night at his castle?
Yep.
It's fucking weird.
I don't trust the situation.
Seems like a good man.
I mean, now I get a general idea of why he dropped the charges. He was probably like, damn, these guys are kick-ass. They didn't blow up that mausoleum, drop the charges.
Yeah, without a shred of evidence, he just read the book and it's like, I can't get their autographs if they're in jail.
Actually, yeah, I can, but it won't mean as much.
Yeah, exactly.
I do not think we should turn down an invitation from the king.
Seriously.
I mean, the invitation is to sleep in a room for a night. Like, that ain't really much of an invitation. If it was to, like, breakfast or some shit.
Pretty sure it's all of those things.
Nice. Oh, I don't know how the hell Rowan is leaving. You have to be careful. If you die, I can bring you back from the dead.
Oh, no. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm just saying that if you go and die on me, unless you get petrified since I have not preserved a blood sample from you, I'm coming back.
Well, okay, so like I actually don't know exactly how I'm gonna leave either. All I know is somewhat of the nature of how it happens.
Okay. I can already picture how Magnus is doing, considering he already declined to, go on a cross-continental adventure.
Yeah. He broke the rule, bros before hoes. We know where his loyalties lie.
Oh, actually, I need to put this plate away. I'll be right back. I thought I didn't have anything to do.
Bros before hoes.
Quit up me, brew. Dost thou kick it in the hood?
Is that how the king's talking to me now?
No, that's how your dragon's talking to you.
No! It's become indoctrinated by their culture.
I must say, these bangers and mashes exquisite.
No! No, stop! he remembers who he is, this will haunt him.
What did you do to me?
I exposed you to culture.
No! My skin!
Producing it.
Oh no.
It's just about the same burial I expect whenever I fight with bandits. I expect they'll stab me and hang out my skin.
What kind of fucking bandits are those?
I don't know. I mean, bandits are pretty fucked up. They sure as hell ain't gonna give you a nice burial. They're just gonna leave your corpse out to rot.
After they pick it clean for goodies.
Yeah.
Leave you stinking and rotten in the fucking open.
Ugh. Okay.
Ugh. Yeah, this music reminds me of RuneScape.
Stand and deliver.
God
That's
damn
my
it.
favorite RuneScape joke. Just the fucking highwaymen made me laugh so goddamn much every time I played that game. Just like, I'd pass and I'd just be like, yes, please.
I love the fucking.
Stand.
Two people I know have like actually been playing RuneScape lately, and one of them got his like mate's account and like took him like just went for like 2 hours out into the wilderness and then logged out.
Oh, nice.
The
Just
wilderness
walk.
doesn't have a map anymore, by the way.
What?
So if you don't know where you are in the wilderness, you are lost.
That's awesome. Well, not after a while, but initially, that's awesome.
Can you at least walk in one direction? Or is it like,
Probably.
it sucks though.
Can't he just teleport out?
Yeah, I don't think you can in the wilderness.
I mean, you used to when I played.
Yeah.
Teleporting just took a while.
Yeah.
Walk out into the boonies for 2 hours.
Alright.
Alrighty.
So what are we doing?
So, as
I
the
guess we just enjoy the banquet for a while longer if nothing else is gonna happen.
We'll have to see if this banquet turns into a red banquet.
Yeah, Flick was like, is that how you two leave? Or, sorry, Ken.
The people next to you just pull out weapons and
Yeah.
start hacking at you.
Oh!
yes, the paladin of Irithus.
This is high and noble of me. You have no weapon. I will make it quick. Keeps rolling natural ones so she can't kill you.
Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
I swear I've practiced doing this before.
So,
This isn't my first time, you know.
oh God. As the banquet goes on, you do see a few bits of entertainment. A couple of wizards and mages, sorcerers, and illusionists just doing different magic tricks, fireworks, and small explosions on the red carpet in the middle of the room. And that goes on for about an hour as everyone just enjoys the banquet and feast. A few swordsmen just doing different practice poses, you know, like a couple of gasp moments of, oh my god, that almost hit him, but very well practiced. You know, just mostly shock value.
That's cool.
The king, you know, the king. Everyone's very regaled. The dwarf over on the other side, next to the dragonborn, you can hear him kind of laughing at the fight. Like it looks like he's kind of pointing out. He could see where they faked a few points of it. So and soon you actually hear one of the call. You could see the king call over for one of the guardsmen. She goes up, and you can see him speaking. Can't really make out what he's saying at this point. She goes down, and you can see her talking to the two at the corner of the table. The girl who's trying to practice a few bits of, controlling water and water magic itself. And she goes back up to the king just to relay the message again. Oh god, jacuzzi. And underneath the brazier opens up a tub.
What?
No.
Oh, never mind. It took me a second. I was like,
a tub
is she
of
gonna
acid.
bathe?
Yeah. You see a couple of the butlers bring out what looks like a tub of water, and then like a tub of ale, gold ale, and then another tub that's just red wine, and then a fourth tub that's just different, is green. So there's just multiple different colors. At that point, you can hear the small announcement from the court wizard is like, and now for the men who prevented the fires from spreading too far into the city, the king has requested a small demonstration of his water magics and control. And you could actually see the cloaked man get up. He is actually wearing a mask, just to make sure people don't see what he looks like. He seems like a very paranoid fellow. At that point, you can actually see him go over to each of the tubs of liquid and just kind of like dips his fingers in, like you saw Rowan at the carnival, and you can see it start to pool up into the sphere each. At that point, you can actually see him start shifting in making different waves as it flows around. It looks like it's about to splash on the floor, and then it kind of like bounces up and it goes up into another small waterfall again. He makes a few others just swirl around the pillars, just showing off the absolute most elegance of control over the element. And you could actually see through the small peepholes of the mask that allows his eyes to peer through. It's just like a hue of blue that's just piercing through, almost like there's just magic emanating from his eyes as he controls this. And he just keeps splashing different mixtures. He actually mixes the two orbs and splits them into 4 colors each, and perfectly separating each one so they don't mix. And then with one final splash up, he has all 4 just spiral up and make a fountain, and then all 4 splash down, perfectly separated back into their respective tubs. And you can hear a few people applauding, impressed, a few other people kind of whispering like, I need to learn that kind of magic. I wonder if he would share his spells with me.
Magic. Flick rolls his eyes.
And
I'll show you magic.
Mr. Potter.
And he goes over and just whispers something to the guard. She goes up to the court wizard, and the court wizard is actually surprised. He's like, well, it seems our guest is willing to reveal his name. As he goes to sit down, he finally takes off the mask and pulls back his hood so you can see him. And he announces his, and you could see and you recognize the face. This is the Revenant from Barnes' shop.
That's not ringing any bells.
It's
I mean, I
the
don't-
assistant
I
who
don't-
had the scar around his neck. Like he'd been
Oh, it was that guy. Okay.
And then he pulls off his face, and it's John Cena.
And the
Grabs the king around the waist and just smashes him into a wall.
The time is right. The time is now.
John Cena, obliterate.
and as he takes a seat, and and he says the man's name is finally revealed as Sorgal Water Strider.
Oh, snap.
His last name even works with his powers.
God damn it.
Holy shit. There he is. There he is.
I should have known. What Josh?
Yeah,
A
it's kinda-
world where he didn't die.
Well, I mean, he's a revenant.
Oh, Revenant, that's what he's. Oh, and the scar. Now I remember. Oh, that's.
You wanna know how I got these scars?
I'm so glad you guys didn't figure that one out.
You want to know how?
Is this from a game I must
These scars.
It was from Ken's game. That me and Josh were in.
That's awesome. You keep surprising us with all these characters.
The cameos.
You didn't surprise me with Hogtie because everybody kills Hogtie now.
Yeah.
Surprise! Hogtie's probably gonna die in the Warhammer game too.
Oh no.
Just
Dies in everything.
So at this point, it's getting closer to the end of the banquet. Everyone's leaving their tables, mingling with each other, talking in the middle of the floor. Obviously, the shows are finally over. You can actually see the Sorgal talking to the woman still. It seems like he's still trying to teach her a few other things here and there. At this point in the night, you could see a few of the nobles at the table gotten up and left. Let's see. And it's obviously later in the night. You can see the few that are left at the table get up as the queen stands up and bow respectively as she leaves the table. And as she goes down, obviously she has her bodyguard that follows her, just keeping respect. And she starts heading out in this direction. And
I nod as she passes by.
and she nods as she passes by. Obviously, everyone isn't at the table. So, Flick, you actually notice like a almost like a gold-frilled with a pocket handkerchief falls down as she keeps walking.
Ooh. Alright, I'm gonna reach down to grab it stealthily. Damn it.
Oh god, he's too
I
flustered.
fall over out of my chair and grab it.
So the chair kind of screeches.
I imagine it's just because you're so short.
Yeah.
You try to reach down, but it's just so apparent. Because you need to lean all the way down just to reach the floor.
Yeah, I'll pick it up and check it out.
So
Give it a smell too.
it
At the table?
it's probably one of the finest perfumes you've ever smelled. It's just sweet lavender and fields of flower. Just absolutely heavenly.
Mmm.
And
Okay.
you also have a oh god.
Okay. Finely crafted, huh?
And you see a small little piece of paper fall out as well.
Okay, I will.
Is the queen fucking hitting on you? I swear to God.
Oh god.
Before he reads it, Flick says, and he's obviously hiding this from all of you. He says,
I think I will spend the night here after all.
Oh god.
I'll do anything I wouldn't do, partner.
and then,
I needed to make that reference.
where is the bathrooms here? So I will go use the bathroom.
That would be on the far left, past the kitchen.
Please don't get all of our heads chopped off.
I will go and go there and go read it.
Alright, so I didn't make the bathrooms, so
Yeah, it's fine.
obviously you get to
Same.
that room.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
obviously that's what it says.
Okay.
At least we aren't all having sex with the so.
So as you pass by the kitchen, roll a perception.
Okay.
They're eating people.
Oh fuck! Don't pull that on me.
No. You could just kind of hear it like, I know, I'll get the tomatoes chopped.
Oh, it's people! Soylent Green is people!
The voice sounds very familiar.
It's Ku. Ku is the king's chef and a necromancer.
Upon returning from the bathroom, as I pass by again, Flick will chuckle to himself as he learns that fact about Ku being there.
I mean, actually, he did cook really good food, so I'd imagine he would make a good chef for the king.
But yeah, Flick will come back and tell you all.
Ku is in the kitchen. You should say hi.
Rowan pushes her meal away.
Oh, so that's why his tastes so good. Wonder where he went. So to delay the trip till tomorrow at the earliest, then if Flick is staying the night.
Ladies.
Oh. Alright. So yeah, for this far down the hall, you do see the two guards. But the one guard obviously just staring straight ahead, you know.
Yeah.
Stone. The other guard is just stone as well. Just doesn't even try to look at you at this point. Almost like she knows.
Oh, God.
The female guard does that? Okay. Oh, okay. Flick will give her a nod as he passes by.
She just kind of chuckles.
God. She always likes the short ones.
Enjoying the view. Oh God.
Oh.
Oh my. So I imagine you find your way quite quickly there. Yeah, so as you walk in, you can actually see her smiling. She already has part of her clothes off.
Wow!
Just the really, really puffy parts. The extremely tight parts are still on.
Oh my God. You know what would be scarier? If the king walked in as well. They're like
shit.
this power couple.
Shit, I was muted. I was saying stuff. My bad.
Help.
Yeah. Okay. In case you missed it, I said Flick knocked and like asked to come in.
Oh, totally missed that.
Yeah.
I was like, is he just gonna barge in? Like,
Yeah. Oh, my bad.
She'll, You would definitely hear come in a coy kind of voice.
Okay. Well, he would kind of walk in and he wouldn't be like, he'd obviously look at her and, admire for a second, but then he would like look away kind of respectively and say, I got your message.
And she just, with a very wide grin, was like, you don't need to look away, and I was hoping to try out your chains tonight and see how tight
What?
You are of all the people's women to mess with, man. The king's wife.
Your
Oh.
reputation precedes you very much. Many women have said that you've been able to exhaust an entire brothel by yourself without even a potion.
Oh god.
So,
Oh god.
Flick's face will like go, like he'll start like blushing, and which is kind of weird for him, but he'll also say, I don't really know how to say this. I mostly spend my time fighting, but honestly, there's someone that I love very deeply, and I'm afraid I can't do this.
Ooh.
The queen is ready to like.
And he will just like immediately bow in like respect, and just see what she says.
Ken, have you ever heard the story of Joseph and the Potiphar's wife?
No.
Oh, well, basically, the Potiphar's wife falls in love with Joseph and takes him aside to tempt him and to, have sex with her. And she says no, and he says no, and runs away. And she proceeds to have her husband arrest him and send him to jail for several decades.
Well, something like this and that story happened in what was that game? The dragon one. Josh, you played it a
Dragon
bunch.
Age.
Dragon Age, yes.
Is it Dragon Age? It's the one where it's like third person action and you like roam
Dragon's
around.
Dogma.
Dragon's Dogma, yeah. You
Well-
remember that quest?
Yeah,
Yep.
Joseph comes from the Bible, so that I think
Oh.
that predates it, but...
Oh, of course. It's just I'm going off the one I know.
yes, it's
I've
fine.
never heard
I'm
of this Bible.
I'm just saying, be careful, okay? Just
That's what I'm doing. I'm trying not to do the queen.
well, I'm just saying it might be dangerous to not do her as well.
Yeah,
Queen me.
you're right. I'm not really feeling this situation. And he if she doesn't say anything, he'll kind of like
She
stand up straight. And,
She smiles just very widely and just kind of mischievously, like, well, then why did you come?
Honestly, I thought that maybe you had a secret mission or something. I mean, we're well-known mercenaries.
he's just kind of like stammering at this point.
Oh God! At this point, she gives a very like evil grin, and she's like, "Then I have a mission for you."
Oh no.
Okay.
As long as it's not that kind of mission.
I think it's one you'll enjoy.
Okay.
You are chloroformed from behind by the king.
God. Oh God.
What does this game turn into?
Yeah.
Flick the romancer.
And here I am with my even higher charisma, not even doing it. I'm staying strong. My dragon applauds me for it.
Honestly, guys, I did not come back here to fuck the queen.
I don't know, it seemed a lot like it. I wasn't here though. For
Yeah, I was pretty sure you were going there to fuck the queen.
Josh likes to tempt me for some reason.
Hey man, you got a fucking reputation.
Yeah.
You-
But
You'll fuck up
Yeah.
all the whores, but won't have sex with the crew.
But actually, I haven't done any kind of like adultery or whores or anything since, you know,
Oh, really? Nice.
since obviously you guys all know Flick is in love with someone else.
Vampire. Obama.
Vampire Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
So, yeah, he will. Oh, okay. I mean, out of character. I will applaud this chick's idea about the chains. That's a good one. I'm gonna take notes, and that's a good one. I like it. Never thought to use my chains like that.
Oh my gosh.
You see how the chains were in the story? I mean, it's them on the dragon, so.
By the way, as soon as Flick comes back, he's gonna be telling you all, I changed my mind. Time to go.
I figured when you said you were going to stay the night, I was like, oh, great, he's gonna go fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will head back then.
Yeah, we should probably leave, so you know the doesn't. Right, the queen also knows where we live. At least we won't be here in like a day. And god damn it, the king was all like, man, you want. Wait, how come the king said we weren't greedy? We literally risked our lives to push a gigantic cart with an endless ale fountain on it.
Well, he never knew how much you were getting paid. Also,
I mean,
the
he
simple
didn't.
fact that Clara's amount never picked out to you or was mentioned of that you were paid.
So Flick will come out red-faced and like bump into his chair and then like, you know, climb up on you know, sit there and like look kind of distraught and say,
So, I think I will stay the night. After all.
Don't? Yeah, alright. We should probably get going. It's not like we're doing much else here.
yeah, is the party dying down?
It's dying down at this point. The king finally leaves the table when the final last person that was in his group leaves, and he comes over to Rowan and the group, and he waves for the guard to go and collect someone else.
Okay. While he's near, I will hand him the queen's gold handkerchief and be like,
Oh no.
She dropped this.
Oh, he's so clumsy. Thank you. I'll give it to him.
It was lovely meeting both of you. Truly.
Well, I hope you at least stay the night then.
I was planning on it, if that's okay.
It'd be much appreciated. Have a wonderful breakfast and discuss some more of your adventures that are not written down yet.
Oh, I've got a few.
So you see the guard come over. He beckons for Sorrel. And he brings over and he just tells him, "Wait here with the king." And he goes up onto the raised platform again, and goes over to one of the side tables that looks like it was gifts, but picks up a case that's fairly long, about 3 feet, and it looks pretty heavy, and he's bringing it over. And it just opens it up, and it's each layer is velvet separating each one, but it's swords for all of you.
Swords, really?
You could sell yours. Shh. Stop complaining.
Not selling a gift from the king.
And they all have the symbol of Waterdeep on the handle, and they're very finely made. He's offers them, he's like, "Here, as a small token in appreciation for defending my city, and I do hope that I could call you on you myself in desperate time of need, or even just a small mission here and there, and paid, of course. I wouldn't imagine using mercenaries for free would be rude."
Wow. You literally just gave me the perfect setup, but he also called us not greedy, so I'd feel bad for capitalizing on it.
And the guard gives each of the respective blades to you. It's a guardian's call +2, and the properties of this is you assume the guardian form, which you could flavor that however you like, and you pick one of one defense other than AC. You gain a +2 bonus to that defense while you're in that guardian form.
Oh, that's pretty good. I mean, I guess I can technically have something out other than my staff.
And you could always transfer it over to your staff.
But I can do that.
I would imagine it costs a little bit, but it would be transferring it. And,
I can just like grab the handle of the sword or some shit.
And and he looks to the rest. He's like, "I know most of you, just from your reputation, would possibly not accept an offer like this, but I was hoping that you would become part of the Royal Guard and my personal investigators, especially you, Rowan. I was wondering if you would be interested in becoming the leader of such a unit, since you're so eagerly throwing yourself at the undead with such bravery and resilience."
And Rowan's eyes grow wide, and she goes, Is this a personal invitation? You
Yes, if you take this, you would be fully knights of my realm.
And she turns to the party and goes, but is it okay, guys?
Flick will say, yes.
'Twas an honor to serve with you, Ron, but chase what you desire most in life.
And so she nods her head, and even though it's in front of the king, she comes up and just gives a bear hug to Flick, and like lifts him off his chair.
That's
And,
a pretty tall height. Oh no.
Yeah.
Flick, are you alive?
And goes over.
Put me down.
And she puts him down, goes over to Tyrion, and gives him, holds out her hand to get a hearty shake.
I will reciprocate.
And
Should we do a post-strength checks?
Do you want it?
Yeah.
All right, one last time.
You gotta do that Terminator, like, bro grip they do in that movie. Like, or not Terminator, Predator.
Yeah, squeeze each other's hands harder and harder.
There we go.
Bring it.
Oh.
Just barely.
She's weak with excitement.
Yeah.
Did you use athletics?
Huh? No. I just use flat strength.
That's weird. Hell's my 5 strength. Shouldn't I? And never mind, strength is one of your main stats. It can be high.
Anyways.
Both of you are obnoxiously strong, dude.
And she goes over to Magnus and says, I hope you and Mala.
Ja, we need to
That's
open
best.
up with like full group.
We may have had our quarrels, but I will miss you.
and she does kind of like the French kiss, and she turns to Mala and says, "Make sure he doesn't kick you in the ribs." And walks up.
Flick, as you pass by, Flick, I'll say one last thing to you. He'll say,
By the way, your secret's safe with me. What happened in that room?
Rowan.
he'll just smile.
Rowan's face turns bright red, and she kind of goes, "You better."
He'll laugh.
And she goes up to the king, and then goes on one knee. And goes, "I humbly accept your offer."
For Mortal Kombat.
Mortal.
Ah, so he's obviously his face is just lighting up at this. And I'm so glad you accepted the offer. And please stay the night so we can discuss matters further and where you'll be staying. With you be in charge of this investigation,
She
especially.
nods at
And with that, I bid you good night. I'll be heading up to meet my queen. And he starts to head off.
Flick starts sweating.
Oh, shit.
Ugh.
So, the ranger doesn't say anything. He just immediately turns his back to you and
Oh.
starts walking. Oh.
Flick will run up to him, and I'll just say nothing and just hold out my hand to him, like for a handshake.
He kind of hesitates for a moment. He kind of just studies you, and then reaches his hand out, shakes your hand.
As soon as he grabs it, I make my hand super cold, like basically hella icy.
Oh my god, really?
And I just give him a really firm grip with it.
Oh god! So you're gonna freeze his hand over?
They're having a pissing contest.
I don't want to like freeze it off, but I just want him to know, like, yeah, you're water, I'm ice.
Okay. So as soon as you start freezing him,
And I just start smiling, like big grin.
he coyly wraps water around your arm and you freeze your arm.
It just clunks to the ground.
Well played.
And he nods and just kind of like taps his brow like he's tipping a hat.
Okay.
And then walks off.
Oh man.
I'll just shape the ice into my sword and then dissipate it.
He's fast.
Everybody's fast.
Definitely a few people noticed that pretty easily, considering your arm was a block of ice for a second.
Yeah, that was great. Had to do something to him though.
Oh yeah, I love that. That's perfect. All right. So, anyone who would like to stay, there are 6 rooms to choose from.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not like anything bad's gonna happen if I do, perhaps, but
Is there room for sleep over here?
The
Sure.
6 rooms that you were originally at before, that the rooms offered.
Oh, over there?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they're very
That's-
well, nice furnished and heated rooms.
oh, yeah, sure, why not? I'll throw in my lot.
That's it's pretty generous, being so close to the Queen's bedchambers.
Well, the Queen's bedchambers isn't here. This is just where she met you.
Oh, okay.
These are the guest rooms.
Okay.
Does this one come with the creepy dominatrix standing in the corner?
The French maid, if you would like her to stay the night, she can.
Oh.
There are others offering if she's not to your taste.
That's kind of weird. mean, I guess it is the king. Which has hookers. Take this one, it's for free.
Actually,
You can tell them to leave. They don't have to stay. They are just offered.
Flick will stop you, Taryn, before you're like choosing a room and settling in. Or maybe I'll just come to the doorway and like nod you over.
Yeah, what? What you?
There's 2 beds in this other room. I need to tell you something.
Alright.
Come on.
I'm dragging myself behind you.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, so yeah, just act like everything's normal until a little bit further into the night and things die down. And then I'll tell you, so I found something out, Taryn.
What is it?
There. And before I tell you this, don't tell anyone you were blabbing to the captain of the guard that we had those gems.
I want to know if he had more information. Otherwise, I wouldn't have told him.
Right. But no one else, please.
Alright.
So, they have another one of those gems here, and I'm going to steal it.
It's a good idea. It did appear to be a set, but why would Clara have not taken it? She's the daughter of the captain of the guard. She probably could have just talked her way up to it. Must be a reason.
Maybe she didn't know about it, but in any case, it's ours.
We need to make sure to get the other one from Rowan before she leaves. Oh wait, no, never mind. You got the other one. Yeah.
I just got a feeling she would be leaving soon for some reason.
No, I'm just kidding.
It would.
So yeah.
Actually, you would still just have it from your own experiments.
Yeah, I held on to it. So yeah, let me know if that's something you want to do right now, or whenever.
Do you want me? To
First,
help?
I want to know where Magnus is going. I imagine Magnus is going home.
What, right away?
Well, that's up. I don't know what you're doing. What are you doing?
I said I'd stay the night. I also said that we shouldn't refuse an offer from the king. What's up, dudes?
There's another double bedroom to the left.
Why would I need a double bed?
Oh, you could use. Well, there's a single to the far north as well.
Anonymous whistle. I guess since we're in a room with probably a closed door, I'm gonna look at the scroll that Flick gave.
What are you doing, Josh? No.
It's
you
room,
long
but I think
enough.
it's his room. Please tell me it is.
Go
Please
look
tell
at
me
it. Go look at it.
Oh, is it
I'll
just
drag you in.
French
I'll drag you
maid? I don't see it. It's not what I thought it was.
Oh, okay.
in.
Dude, that hideous guy.
No. Oh, no.
God damn it.
Oh,
I was so hype.
I might have gave too much setup for that, but no. No.
I heard you swung this way.
It was one time, she keeps saying. One time.
Oh, God.
You left your dragon familiar at the
I don't have
banquet
control over him. I can't.
I thought I gave you control.
I don't think you did last time I checked.
Alright, let me just do all players, that way it's not an issue.
Oh, now I have control of it.
Excellent.
Sweet. There's your new character, Rousey.
You play as my familiar.
I'm just gonna swear at you all the time.
You fucking cunt!
Asshole.
Why'd you do that?
So, I'll change it just in case.
Gotta figure out what locations we got. See if we got a winner.
You should have control now.
Let me go pan back outside.
It's next to you.
Oh, you did. There you are.
Yep.
No, don't put me inside the wall.
There. It's right below you.
Guys found it. There were people in the wall.
Oh my
So
god.
obviously, Rowan, you dismiss the offering of tonight.
Get out of here!
Also, you found out her name was Beatrice.
Oh god.
Is she Russian?
God. And the other offering ladies of the night is Lilith and Melanie. So, I imagine you all settle in at this point.
I like how this king rolls.
He knows people have needs.
He treats his guests very well. Yep.
Alright, so I imagine you all set in for the night since it's a little later in the evening anyway.
I'm gonna read the scroll and see what locations we got. Out of curiosity.
Alright. So you read over the scrolls, you realize that the I can't remember the name of the marsh. Let's find my map.
It was like Silverback, I believe. It was the Silverback Marshes, I believe.
And it's the Lonely Moor.
Oh, that's what it was.
So you read that the closest you could get is the Lonely Moor and the Great Peak Mountains to the Black Road and the City of Shade. Other than that, anything further out than that is probably locked up in the king's personal library near his room.
Why would the king keep that in his personal library?
Because
He has
that
a
would be
court mage.
that would be messages sent across to the kingdom with only his permission. And also he has dominion over Waterdeep and the lands around, not over the other kingdoms themselves, like Dagger, Dagger, Baldur's Gate, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's regrettable, but this won't be that far behind.
No. That's still a very good distance.
Flick will also tell Taryn,
Don't ask how I got this information. I had to do something.
I mean, I figured as much.
Pumping for information.
Ugh. That is, well, do you need my help for your evening illicit activity?
I think I should be okay.
Alright.
Unless you're good at sneaking around.
I can make myself good at sneaking in 10 minutes.
you can?
Cough, cough, ancestral spirit.
Dragon just looks
I
at
would-
you, just slaps you in the back of the head. You don't need to whisper it.
Well, I think Flick would be okay alone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying I can. Plus, also my bonus would not be as high as yours, so I'd
And
still probably get caught.
also, what's cool about Flick is I get concealment if I'm within 10 feet of any dim light. So I have concealment, so I could just hide very easily.
Yeah.
So that's something I can do, and I will try to.
I imagine you just looking out and peeking around the corner.
Hey, Johnny.
Very quietly.
hmm
And
Is it like darker? Is there less people?
it's definitely darker. The light's not shining in, not really bouncing off the stone floor anymore.
Okay.
The knight himself, still exact same position. You can tell these guys are very regulated in their posts,
Yeah.
especially keeping different sections locked off for the guests. The statue a little further to the right of him is holding a small brazier of where the light is. And a little further down the hall to the guard's left would be very dim and dark, especially since there's no light in between. It's just the two armor stands holding up the full plate. And you do hear a few people walking around here and there. It just sounds like leather boots, none like what the guard is actually wearing at the door, because his is full metal plate greaves, boots, and pauldrons, everything. So you'd imagine that the next guard to come change shifts might have a more clanging sound to them, just on the simple aspect that they seem extremely well armored guarding this spot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I would get as far as the darkness will take me, and just kind of wait maybe and see if like there's a changing of shifts that happens or something.
Alright. So you could try and get beside the statue. There's a few
Over here?
Yep. You could try and
Yeah, if I can kind of skirt next to the
because
wall.
that hallway goes a little further down. I just didn't
Oh,
mention
it
that.
does.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could probably just be like you're off to explore one of the more open sides of the castle, and because that leads out to the garden. So
Oh, yeah.
just be like
Okay.
midnight stroll and slip back there to the statue if you like.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I would slip up to the statue and like maybe when I get up to it, try to make it like dim to where it's like if I can like kind of just throw a little bit of dirt on it, like stealthily or something, to like make it not so it's obviously gone out completely, but so it's like
it's
dim,
fading.
and I can get my stealth bonus.
I would imagine you just run out to the garden once you see it's the open area of the
Yeah.
garden itself. Get a little bit of dirt, and not too much, but just enough to snuff out a few coals here and there, because it's just a small open brazier,
Yeah.
and it dims it a good amount. It's not pitch black, but enough where it just looks like the statue in shadow when you stand behind it.
Okay. Cool. Well, since I can get concealment in the dim lights, I'm gonna try to stealth by this dude.
Alright, so just roll me a stealth on that. It is pretty close next to him for that.
Yeah, and I'd be moving super carefully because he can't move more than 2 squares, I think, at a time. All right.
Oh, yes. So you slink up to the door very easily, and you could tell that it's got a heavy metal bolt in it. Not one you can't unlock, but obviously just to keep people from automatically just going straight in.
Oh, okay.
You would imagine if it was any later, it might actually be locked.
All right. Well, I'll very, very slowly unlock it and go in.
So just roll me one more stealth for that.
Okay.
Alright, so it creaks a little bit, not too much though, where it would be obvious. You see the guy just kind of look down each of the halls. He probably thinks it's one of the other doors echoing down the hall. But you do get like a really, really big sink in your gut and jump in your heart from seeing his helmet turn, but it's just enough where the helmet blocks his view of you.
Okay.
So you can easily get the door open and slip in there.
Okay. And I'll just very gently close it.
So you softly close it, don't make any noise. You can see full suits of armor. It looks like, old knights' reserves. Some are very battle scarred. It looks like from previous history of Waterdeep. A few other pieces look like old king's armor from other battles that have been worn and just passed on, and it might have been their spare suit that they weren't buried with and has been left in memory. That's a wall. It separates the two.
Okay.
And then Yeah, looking down the hall, you can quite clearly see is one knight's armor with a chest beside it. There's a fairly big lock on it.
Okay, I will snuff out both these torches in here and make my way down to the lock.
Making my way down to the lock.
So you get down to the chest. Obviously, very, very, very tight lock. Even though it's big, it looks like a very well-made one. Not a typical iron adamantium lock.
Okay, well, I will try to pick it if I can.
So roll me your thieving for that.
All right. Oh, damn it.
Alright, so,
Horrible.
unfortunately, as you're trying to lockpick it, you kind of hear a small pink, and you realize the lockpick is broken in half, and that there's one half of a lockpick stuck in there now.
Okay.
So before that, you're gonna have to get that out of there before another attempt.
Okay. And what do I have to do to get it out?
Well, you could try athletics to just rip it out of there, or you could try another thievery. At the same time, if you're too athletics, you're gonna have to roll a stealth for that, just so you don't make.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna try the stealthier approach.
Alright.
Come on, baby.
Alright, so you manage to correct it. You hear the tumbler reset back to place, and luckily it's not broken or jammed at this point.
Okay.
So, yeah, roll me another thievery.
Okay. Oh, again, the same roll. Is this chest bolted down? I just want to take it.
Walking out of here would possibly be a little noisy, and it is fairly good size. It's probably like a foot wide chest. It's not really something you could tuck in your bag.
Damn, I should have took Tyrion's bag of holding.
I will let you if you asked.
The
What has in it is, a magical jewel.
a little
I
late.
didn't think about it. Yeah.
So, you break it off again. Luckily, this is an adamantium lockpick, so it doesn't really
Alright, see you, mate.
get broken at this, and it literally breaks off the same way again, halfway.
Mhm.
So again,
Oh,
thievery or a stealth and athletics pulling out.
All right, I'll try to get it out again.
How many lockpicks do you have?
Oh god, he's got a thieves kit. There's like 20 of those things in there. All right, yeah.
Alright.
All right, so knowing you made the same exact mistake, you a little more skillfully pop the lock out, already knowing the position that it broke last time.
Okay.
It's like Skyrim.
This time,
Yeah.
this time you just hear a little ting as it hits the floor.
Dang, I wish I had something to give me a better skill to this.
Oh god, the 14s are not helping.
So, I'm thinking, at the risk of making a little noise, I want to try to freeze the lock and just like jam it with my sword, or use my sword to like go in the lock and like twist it, like kind of snap it open, maybe.
I don't know.
An
Using metal,
adamantine?
using ice to shatter a lock would be noisy as fuck.
That it would.
Yeah, but
And I'd be
I
like,
don't
you
know.
just fired a cannon.
I
Okay,
think
not
I
that
could-
loud.
Dude,
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
on a stone
Magical
floor in
ice.
an echoing castle with metal bits pinging off the floor.
Even if the guy ran in, it's dark in here,
Yeah.
and I am like the master of shadow right now.
God, I wish.
I mean, just imagine what the
let me
fuck
just
he'd
find
see when he brought his torch up to the lock. He'd be like, what the fuck happened?
Alright, so let me just
It's
find.
frozen. Freak magical
I know.
accident.
If-
the shiv goes through his throat.
I mean, I'll knock him out if I have to.
Oh my gosh. What?
Alright.
Yet again, you should have brought my gloves.
I'm
Oh.
glad I saved this one. Alright, so. Alright, so you have to break its hardness and the amount of HP it has. So I will let you do this, but keep in mind this may not entirely work.
Okay.
Because you have to beat the item's hardness, which adamantium is pretty ridiculous. Not well. I can't say pretty ridiculous. I could say fairly hard.
Yeah. Maybe I'll keep up with the lockpicks for a while.
All right.
If I keep failing though, I may just go back and get Terran's black hole or whatever.
The black
Right.
hole.
Thievery.
Yep.
Come
My
on,
bigger
baby.
bag of
Oh
holes.
Ah.
my god.
4.
Oh my
Just
god.
like me with the ritual.
What is the odds of that? It's 3 14s. So literally, you keep proceeding. You think you have it, and it breaks in the exact same spot again.
You have the chance to get the 320s with that.
Well, I do have 20 lockpicks. I guess or now what 16, 17.
Yeah,
16 left.
17 lockpicks left.
Yeah. I'll try to pull it out.
All right, yeah, you pull it out easily. You're getting
Okay.
better at knowing how to pull the lockpick out after you
But
break.
not getting any fucking better. Actual check. All right, I'll try to pick it again. There we
Oh,
Oh,
go.
there we go. Finally.
So
If that doesn't open it, I'm walking out.
after much frustration, you finally figure out that the last tumbler was what was stopping you and pinching the lockpick, and you finally push it down and finally gently wedge that small little last tumbler up, and you finally hear a click as it opens.
All right, so I will.
Roll me
Death.
an acrobatics so the lock doesn't hit the floor as soon as it pops.
Oh, no
Okay.
fireball.
Are you telling me you wouldn't have your hand underneath
Oh
the
my
lock while you're
God.
picking it?
You've got both hands on it. He's pretty frustrated at this point, really focused. All right, so yeah, you easily like slip a hand under it and stop it. And trust me, the DC wasn't that high.
Okay.
It was just like a nat 1 would probably cause that.
Yeah.
But you catch it. It does have a good amount of heft to it. And
Okay.
you just slip it off and you open it up and there's a few gems in there.
I'll take all of them.
Oh, okay. Very, very slick. And I would imagine you just close it down. Would you take the lock with you?
No, I'll lock it back up.
All right. So you lock that back up. You slip all the gems into your pockets.
Yep.
Money.
Yeah. I mean, Flick's not one to waste
All right.
an opportunity.
All right. So, stealth one more time on that.
Okay. All right, stealth is 14.
Oh,
24.
Alright, so you gently open the door and close it again. The guard's there. You can hear another guard walking down. He turns and looks, and he just actually starts heading down the darker hall as you can hear them hail each other, and they change shifts.
All right, I will to make this. I'll do this the quick way. I'll cast Shroud of Shadow, and then just like do like a little tumble across the hallway.
All right. So yeah, you usually do this, especially in the darkened area of the hall. And then you hear the other guard come marching over, and then a few seconds later, you could hear what sounds like a lock going onto the bar, and you can hear it click, echo through the
Oh.
hall.
Okay. Cool.
You're lucky. One more failure, you would have locked you in.
Yep. That would have been awkward.
Yeah, like shit. All right.
Help, I've locked myself in the treasure room.
I've actually done that to one of my players before. Just locked him in the basement for like a whole day.
I'm not
Wait,
even.
did you like kidnap one of your players and just throw him in your basement?
No, he went inside of like the bottom like basement area, you know, the storage area of the ship.
Uh-huh.
And he kept failing every single like check. So I decided instead of having the soldiers discover him, since he rolled so badly, I made it so that they didn't discover him and they just locked the door. So he was just trapped there.
Oh, whoops! All my thievery should have been plus 11, but probably wouldn't have mattered.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Not in those aspects. Unfortunately. I can tell you now the DC was 25 for that. And that's because
Cool.
Master Lock.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So, after that, Flick, I imagine you're pretty tired.
I'm gonna ask to put all my gems in Terran's hole.
Excuse me.
Can I put my balls in your hole?
And the dragon on the chair is like, I knew you swang that way, you dirty bastard.
Just kidding.
So, Flick, as you're putting the gems in the bag of holding, there's one that kind of like, well, it feels like it's kind of whispering to you, and you find it a little hard to let it go.
Okay, yeah, I'll hold on to that one.
Alright.
Oh,
I just
great,
didn't
it's
want to be
the rain.
caught with the whole caboodle.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I will sleep soundly.
Alright.
You're not even gonna question your magical whispering gem. Just, oh yeah, it's. Hey, hold on to me. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna go to bed now.
Well, I'll examine it, but I figured if something was going to happen, it'd happen.
So, where are you putting that gem?
One of my cloak's pockets. Just kind of wrap it up tightly.
Okey-doke.
Like
God.
use my cloak as a pillow.
Oh God. So the night passes quietly. Rowan, no, I'm kidding. You're not surprised.
Oh, what the? Man, I turn around to clean my room and just. Wow.
Nice.
Why are they assaulting Rowan? Looks so legendary.
Flick just peeks.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Ladies.
All right.
Your secret's safe with me.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Oh man. All right. So, morning comes. Few maids and butlers bring breakfast in bed for you.
We were gonna have breakfast with the king. Thought he wanted to discuss shit with us.
Wow. That's true.
Maybe he had other plans. He is a king.
Yeah,
No, that's like what he specifically said.
Shit happens, man.
can't do.
I'm just bringing it up.
To be honest, that would be a very awkward breakfast for me. So please don't do this, Taryn.
It's too late. It's,
Wait,
it's gonna happen.
Ooh, a pretty gem.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that?
It's my size.
Are you sure it'll fit?
I hold it gently in my arms.
So yeah, it's a good point because I forgot about it. So you'd get a wake up call.
Hello.
Oh God.
Maybe he has his court wizards send us a message in our heads.
Oh my god, that'd be such a pain in the ass. He has to sit there for 10 minutes for each of us.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake!
Just send back. You
And
wake
it's
up.
lunchtime.
It's only half an hour. You just have to get up half an hour early. That'd be such a bitch. Oh my god.
King commands it.
Oh God! All right. So the person that comes and get you is the Warforged Bardus.
Okay.
And he knocks politely. And he's like, "Excuse me, my lords. The king is waiting for you at breakfast."
Oh, of course. Coffee, dude. Come on, let's go.
Off they go.
Get in my square. There you go. That's better.
That's better.
You're damn right. That's better. You son of a bitch.
As I pass by, I'll nod to the guard.
And he nods to you as well.
As you carry your gemstone in front of you. That's not what we're supposed to be guarding.
It's just like levitating out in front of me.
Just like psychically yelling at people. Hello.
Was it me you're looking for?
Did you really take that out of the vault? There's a reason that was in there. It was just like covering their ears, like, oh my god. And oh my god, the queen's here.
I'm gonna sit down here.
I'll sit across from him.
Alright.
As long as that isn't considered disrespectful.
No, it's not disrespectful. It's very obvious that they set up lunch at this table just so it would be convenient when you come down the hall that you wouldn't have to walk further.
I mean, I just meant sitting across from him directly.
Yeah, that wouldn't be an offense at all. So, kidnap Magnus. And...
Also, I'll bow as I approach, obviously, you know. Oh, Magnus. So nice of you to join us.
Alright, I made it.
Authentically role-playing that tired experience. Paula doesn't even get a chair. Typical.
Look off.
Are you telling Mala to fuck off?
No, look, there are 2 chairs here.
Yeah, no, I guess you're noble. It's noble for you to sit right next to the king. Kind of weird.
The guards would be on, watch, but they're not going to be too worried about it because obviously honored guests, and one of you is
Have no weapons.
yeah. But
Well, Flick does.
yeah, but most of them just assumed that was a magic trick what you did.
Ha!
Freezing your own damn hand.
That's great.
Oh god. So the queen just smiles as you go to sit down, Flick. Like,
Yeah, I'll give her like a nod and then never look at her again. Because, yeah, I don't know.
and,
Awkward.
Oh god, queen. Hey, I'm sure you would want that on top of you. Oh, sorry, she's not a dragon rider.
Oh!
Damn! Tonight
Snap.
we got standards, bitch.
Oh.
Alright, so as you sit down, the king is extremely happy. So, in the closer to the temples in the northern districts, I was thinking of setting up a small barracks there for where you could set most of your investigations. That way, also, you would get most of the help from a lot of the clerics and paladins in that area.
And she nods her head.
And he brings up a small list. It's like he's overly prepared for this. And oh god,
Pooping everywhere.
oh no.
Shitting like a bird on the table.
He's just like he's eating some of the breakfast muffins, stealing like a whole freaking pitcher of OJ for himself.
If he comes down to my side, Flick will toss something up in the air again.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He can fly. Would you like to go to the kitchen with your familiar?
I don't know.
That's up to you.
Wait, does he get vision?
Yeah,
He can
I would
can't
imagine.
technically exist infinitely away from me. He can only go like I think 300 feet before he disintegrates. And I have to
300 feet's a
reform him
lot of
again.
squares, dude.
I know I'm just saying like he can't just go forever
Flick
unless you give him that trade.
Flick tells the king,
Thank you for the food. Give my regards to the chef.
He's like, yes. Oh God. We have a new sous chef. He's been quite a help for my old friend. Oh, Jeeves has been a wonderful chef, and I'm not sure where.
Jeeves.
Yeah. Jeeves has been a wonderful chef. He's a gnome, but he also recently found another friendly gnome who's been just as well versed.
Friendly gnome.
As well versed in cooking as he is. I can't remember what his name is. All I can remember his last name was that stuck out so well was Poshak.
Mm.
I was wondering where he got off to.
So he returns to the manor and is
As long as we don't have to meet him.
God. So he continues. He looks around and is like, I have a few men to help you start out. I was wondering if you would prefer my selection or a mixture of my and your selection for this group.
Gotta handpick them.
She respectfully nods and says, I would ask if I may. It is fine if you suggest members, but I believe that having group synergy would be important, and though you may obviously overrule me at any time, I do believe that if I were to handpick many of the members, we would work together a little bit better.
He nods. Well said. Well said. I couldn't agree more. Having people under you who work much better and even hand selected by yourself for your group would be much more preferable.
Flick quietly lets out a,
Yeah, it'd suck if you had someone kicking you while you're down.
And Rowan
Wouldn't-
smiles.
Wouldn't mesh well.
And he looks at all of you. He's like, so I know it's rude to ask, but I must ask. On the night that Claire had left, and you don't have to tell me. We are not pursuing her. The estate that she had is paid well over the amount that was needed to pay for the damages in the lower worker craftsman's area of the district.
Really?
Oh,
Damn.
yes, she had quite a nice selection of very finely made weapons and a few other pieces of jewelry. Few of the men have even started laughing that she hoarded like a dragon. Seeing as she came from one, she had quite the collection of jewels and gold in her house. And he looks over at her and he's like, I hope that was not too bold.
what was the question?
I hope that was not too bold, like for the statement he just made about Clara being part dragon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see what he's saying.
Or are you going for the racist jab again?
Racist.
I'm holding my hand. No offense, Dick. I understand.
He whispers, asshole.
Maybe your
She's like,
dragon
kill him
familiar
later.
in Draconic.
Kill him later. For me.
Do it.
He becomes my Darth Sidious. Dewey. Give in to your anger.
And he just nods. He's like, yes, there was quite a few, God. Yeah, there was quite a nice amount of gems there. The few others that were left over, we kept in reserve under lock and key in case she come back. And I would imagine it would definitely help with her court case. The only charge she has is running away while on duty.
Like, just shifts nervously in his chair.
The queen just looks down in that direction and just smiles like huge from ear to ear. And he looks over to Magnus. Well, I heard you acted noble in quite a many ways, and I could see you're very well versed in being a decent dignitary. I was wondering what land you came from.
I'll be honest, I never actually thought of a name.
Alright, so we could just say you said it, and your house.
Yeah.
Oh, you fucking asshole!
I could not resist that.
He nods like, oh well, I truly hope that more of your family comes to visit. You're also helpful, and from what I've seen just from you alone, I could only imagine what the rest of your family is so selfless.
Stuck up, more like.
He just chuckles there, like, yes, noble life. Many people end up that way. It's such a pity not more of your family is like you.
Indeed. That's why I'm still here.
And he looks over to Tyrion Flick. So, gentlemen, I am curious. Why did you decide to come to Waterdeep?
Personally, for me, I just like to see the world. Hadn't really been much else.
Wanderer. He looks over to Flick and you?
I came here more animal than man, but I have learned much in the city and also found a lot in this city, and it has changed me. So I don't know why I came here, but it's been good.
Drifting through city to city, it's good to see the world. I wish I could do so myself, but I have so many responsibilities these days. It's just nice to sit back and be able to read some of these adventures from the first perspective of one of you nobles here, doing such fine work defending the land and all the innocent people.
It definitely wasn't easy. And I can tell you that Clara is just as honored as we are. Or should be just as honored as we are.
Finding love, I see.
No.
Well, no need to be bashful, but then again, we all need our muses.
Flick just looks at Taryn and says,
She's in the dragons.
Oh God. She is.
she kissed him, I mean.
I know.
And he kind of looks at. He's like, oh well. What tells you that? And he looks over at Tyrion, kind of expecting an answer.
Well, disposition?
So, and oh god, damn! I was gonna say your dragon familiar wasn't around for that, or was he? I can't remember when he came around.
Oh, he came around later.
Yeah. Damn.
I was at home.
I was gonna have him blow up your spot.
Can't.
He can't.
Let me choke him out.
Just start strangling top that dragon.
Don't worry, he's immortal.
And
Wasn't that in the report, though? And there was witnesses when that one thing happened.
I mean,
he kind of
whatever.
wanted to hear it word of mouth.
Oh,
So,
okay.
you know, he likes hearing things firsthand, and he just smiles like, I'm sure that lipstick was hard to get off later that night.
So they did report that.
Yes,
Flick starts chuckling.
they report everything quite thoroughly. I wanted to be sure who she seemed to be flirtatious with from word of your own.
I guess I can confirm. Yes, it was me.
Oh, not too surprising out of the four of you. And he smiles like, well, Rowan, I'm not sure if there's anything you wish to collect back at your home, but the barracks is being set up quite quickly, and if you have anything advisory, the stoneworkers are still there, and I'm sure they would be able to build anything to specification of what you need when you point it out to them.
Rowan says, I travel light, sir, so I'm ready to go whenever.
Oh, very good. I can have the few selected to help you out lead you there immediately after you leave the castle.
Thank you.
As for the rest of you, I would imagine you go back to your most recently purchased area?
Indeed. Much work.
I would say so. That place was quite abandoned for a long time. I'm very impressed you managed to get so many people to help refurbish it so quickly. I'm sure it will rejuvenate the area quite nicely.
We're in the middle of renovations. The basement just got fumigated, so to speak.
Referring to the explosion.
Yes, I'm referring to the explosion.
Oh, damn.
So he nods and he smiles like, "Oh, I'm glad it's going to be so clean and ready to go, and it's getting cleaned up even faster now with such a nice group of mercenaries. So many have been so vulgar the last few times I invited to speak with them. It's nice to have a refreshing conversation with intelligent group of mercenaries like yourselves." And with that, he kind of finishes the last few bits on his plate, and he's like, "Well, I must apologize. I do have a few matters to attend to, especially with the rebuilding of the merchants' districts for the workers. If you have any more questions, please send me a letter. I'll try to help out when I can."
Of course, and of course, sending you a copy of our next book.
Oh, I'll be looking forward to it. And before he walked away, he's like, I've sent word to the contractor for you to be allowed to be listed on more of the higher jobs of reliquary acquirement. There's a few bits of history that people like to go out and explore, even a few other jobs, but I would imagine you're going to be taking a small vacation, especially after doing such a noble deed. It would be exhausting not to take time to enjoy and revel in such a heroic act.
You are correct, my lord.
We already have a pretty good vacation planned.
Yes.
So he nods to all of you like, "Oh, I hope to see you again sometime whenever I need you, and have a wonderful day." And he starts walking off, and let me get to there. And you could actually see the full plate guy, very quick to follow behind along with his other bodyguard.
Okay.
It's fast.
Yeah. Owen
God
gets
damn
up.
it.
All right. I guess this is the official goodbye. I'll still be around though.
Of course. Yeah, hopefully. It's been an honor. I'm happy I was able to help you find or give that soldier peace, the one from your past.
And she looks down, and she says, "Yeah."
And Flick holds out his hand.
She takes it.
Okay.
Gives a hearty shake.
Okay, it's a very cold handshake. No, just kidding. But yeah, he'll shake your hand and then
Flick freezes her hand. She's like, "What are you doing?" The Lannisters send their regards.
Oh, no.
This is the only exit from the Goldhounds. And Shanker right through.
Oh no! Spurting blood.
Goodbye. Magnus,
You should
Where
have
are you
taken the
going?
severance package.
Nowhere.
come here.
Get in our magical portal. We're going on an adventure.
Wow.
Yep. So, Josh, you want to take her?
Take her from me.
Take her.
I'm curious to see how on earth we're gonna get stuck with a ranger and the other chick before me and Flip the other side of the world.
Yeah, I know.
Everything's gone to black.
Especially because now we have there's only one person that knows what we're gonna do, and they don't even know that we have the means to do it yet.
Alright. So, you finish up breakfast. The queen, walks away, and you're all let out. You actually have chariot or escorts to drop you off back at your abode.
Cool.
Get to the respective map. First, drop off a few people. Tyrion with his top hat dragon still exists.
Still exists. I'm excited to do gem experiments. We have all three.
I thought there was 4.
Well, there was 3 specifically that were supposed to be inside of her case.
Oh. Well, it's gonna be dangerous. Maybe we
Did
should
you actually
talk to her.
confirm that Clara carries one around, or just that she didn't have one in the case?
She just didn't have one in the case. Out of
I
3.
thought when she got that crazy sword, I thought she pulled out a gem. I mean,
I thought she just talked to the sword.
It looked like a gem,
okay.
but you do know what you do know from your memory is that it was a crystal pommel.
Hmm.
And it had blood flowing with inside, which none of these gems have blood flowing within them, or anything in opening, or...
Oh, okay.
You
So I
know,
wouldn't necessarily think that was 100% related then.
I mean, I'm probably I'm gonna give that a shot now. I'm gonna try doing the same thing as she said, and then dropping blood onto it. I want to see if something happens.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I can speak.
Head back to base. You get dropped off by the chariots in noble fashion. And I would imagine, let's see, as you sit down at the table to discuss matters, especially with Rowan gone, Sylvia comes over and almost frantic. She's like, "There's something in the basement. I hear scratching on the big door downstairs. It's been going on the whole time you've been gone."
Flick
Yeah, I probably
draws
should
his
get-
sword.
I'll get out my staff. Let's go. Magnus, you
Magnus, you coming?
Always problems.
yeah, this is one of those ones that we can actually solve. With
Before we go in, if this is a fan girl, we kill her.
We may be famous, but we can't deal with any more fans.
There's especially creepy ones that break in.
Scratching doors. Do we have a... No, that's a target.
Over here.
This door right here.
Yep, so that door is still closed right now, so... What would you do?
Vault over
Oh.
the table.
Scared the shit out of you. Alright. I imagine you open it slowly.
I knock.
You just hear the scratching continue.
No, they don't hear anything.
Oh, alright. Alright, so
Yep.
don't hear anything at all.
They took longer than I thought.
Oh no!
I kick it open.
Oh god.
When you kick it open, you
This
see
door is huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably not very hard. What
you
the?
see a cloaked, shadowy figure just fainted, just unconscious by the door, and she has like a small. There's like a small like rock nearby that she was using to kind of pound on and like and scrape on the door like. And there's like lots of scratch marks and stuff like that, and yeah, she's got long, wiry white hair, and her face and her whole body is covered in this dark shroud that seems to be almost like moving.
What race is she?
Do you go over and
Yeah, I'd poke you and like take off your hood or whatever.
She seems undead.
when
You should take this
take
opportunity
off
to
her
finish her off.
when you take off her hood, she has elf ears.
Undead elf. It's rare.
And her skin is just stark pale, just white.
No,
Really
I really
selling this
think we
undead
should.
vampire narrative.
Really think it's time to cover up that pit in the basement.
Yeah, let's toss this back.
Does it appear she needs healing?
Yeah, it's very clear that she's like emaciated. Her lips are very dry. It looks like she might have been possibly lost for a very long time.
I think she needs ale.
Are we really going to take in this strange pale woman that we found in that basement?
Interrogation.
Ugh. Yeah, alright. I needed to go interrogation.
I'd at least
today.
like to know how she got here.
Good interrogation.
Gotta keep her alive first.
I'm gonna pick her up. I'm gonna bring her on over to here.
And when you pick
I'll
her up, she is like extremely light. Like
everybody's extremely light to me.
Well, no, like I mean to say that you feel like you could just grab her. You know, have you ever seen those people who are like extremely thin, and you just feel like you could just grab their like or arm or their limbs or whatever, and you can just like snap it like it's some sort of like piece of like Pocky or something like that. Like she's extremely thin and frail in your arms.
Yeah, well, alright, I'm still gonna take precautions because you might be a vampire. I'm going to tie the strange pale woman to this chair, and I'm gonna carry the chair upstairs.
All right, where should I put it upstairs?
Next to the fountain, because you're gonna have a drink.
Waterboarding the elf.
Gosh.
I mean, fuck, you look like a fucking vampire.
Looks creepy.
Like, I'm
Oh.
pretty close to incinerating you right now.
Don't worry, I can supply the chains.
Oh god.
God.
You need a hobby.
Kill.
Killing is not a hobby.
Sure it is. Alright, so
I mean, I don't know exactly how you make a passed out person drink, but I mean, I guess you should probably.
just run it under, or run her under it. If that's up to you, how you do that.
Yeah, I'm waiting on how you do it.
I mean, I guess just kind of tilt her head back and just pour some in and wait for her to eventually go down the throat. I don't know exactly how physiology works.
so you're just pouring water into her unconscious mouth.
Oh, this is not water. This is ale.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, ale. And she just goes, and she just wakes up and goes like, and she's just wide-eyed and she's frantically looking around. And Josh, just curious, if you turn up insubstantial, can you go through ropes?
That's phasing.
Yeah.
Not substantial.
Insubstantial, you still
If you
have
go through
part
ropes,
of
I'm
you
gonna burn you.
That would be part of you being still physical. Yeah, the phasing is
He's the
gone.
last
So could she
vampire I
take, like,
saw turned into mist.
Could she take the whole chair?
Unfortunately, you can't actually move right now since they restrain you.
No, that's fair. Just curious.
You're still on the basis of restraint.
So she starts struggling, and goes, "Where am I?"
Don't move. We're asking the questions, elf.
And she,
Or whatever you
How do
are.
we just predominantly hate elves?
Until I know better, I hate this elf. No, I'm just kidding.
she stares. She stares menacingly at Flick.
What were you doing in our basement?
I wandered there.
Don't think that's how it works. That's our basement.
There's a large hole.
Why didn't you leave through the hole then?
I came from the hole. From the other side.
Tyrion,
You're not really selling the case when you're not being undead right now.
I'm getting a really
Undead.
creepy vibe.
I am not undead.
Yeah, fangs.
She bares her teeth. No thanks.
Okay.
Well, that's a vampire out the window. What do you mean the other side? Do you mean like the other side of the hole?
The Shadowfell.
Alright, so you're getting real close to burn down. I don't like things that come out of the Shadowfell. They've mostly tried to kill us.
From my perspective, I believe they're the ones trying to kill me.
No. Don't do it.
Oh my fucking god.
Well, then you are lost.
Cast her in.
Now,
Back into the pit.
I will ask you a question.
I will answer if it's appropriate.
Are you the Gold Hounds?
Yes? Hey, Maria. How's it going? We're interrogating a pale woman over here.
I told you were famous.
Oh my god.
she doesn't do that.
It would be so good if you did, though.
I told you were famous.
Curious.
Then I owe you a great debt.
Do you mean for that vampire we killed?
Exactly.
As a personal grudge, you don't owe us anything.
You do not understand. Court must be upheld.
No, like, today was supposed to be a pleasant day. Why are you... How did you teleport into our basement?
I saw you leave through some sort of portal. And I got there to a weak spot in the veil. I think that's how you call it. It led me through a long tunnel. I've been walking for many days.
Many days? I'd love to know where this hole was.
In your basement.
Well, I mean, I got the idea that it's in our basement, but do we have a magical hole to the Shadowfell in our basement now?
I do not exactly know.
Alright, I think I need to go lock the basement then.
Please release me first.
And
You no harm.
wait, is that what his name is actually pronounced as now?
He finally remembers. That's all he remembers is his name.
Okay, that's a lot better than what I thought it was first was Keckle. Like, pronounced like this.
Oh, the guy.
And I was like, really? Is this what the dragon's named?
Keck.
Keck.
I think Flick would probably want to ask you a couple of questions. I'm going to go walk the basement.
How did you know this vampire?
I was to be his blood cow.
You don't look like a cow.
Funny.
Why don't we get you something to eat?
And at that, her eyes grow wide. Food. Yes, food. Food would be delicious.
I snap my fingers at Maria.
Yes.
And at this point, I'm not. I still have my sword out, but I'm not like restraining you in any way.
Oh, so do you release her?
Yeah.
As soon as you do it, so picture the scene, you know, from Harry Potter when Voldemort does the insubstantial flight, like he gains all smoky.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, shadows coalesce around her, and she just like zooms over to the other side and sits down, far away.
Flick will just say,
You should save your energy.
And she stares at him from across the table.
That was fancy.
Sylvia. Little help?
Sylvia, it's rude to stare at guests.
I arcane lock the basement door, by the way.
oh, sweet.
Yay!
Yes, Sylvia would be a little nervous at that.
She's just like staring.
All she has to do is her regular job in the kitchen.
But yeah,
Melisandre stares back and goes, "Sss."
she just like quickly just like rushes over to get the food and start helping. Yeah. After a few minutes of cooking up something, she brings it over and kind of like hesitates for a moment, and then it just like slowly places it down in front of her.
And as soon as she places it down, Melisandre just like puts her fingers and her hands and just like starts like shoveling this food into her mouth and just like eating it, and she finishes it rather quickly, and then she starts licking the crumbs and goes, "Delicious. That was delicious. May I have another?"
She nods and just goes and gets another, brings it over.
And as she eats this one like more slowly, but still with her fingers and hands, very uncultured, she looks across the table at Flick now, and she pays attention to him and says, "Now, for the matter of the life debt, I prefer it if you do not have me in your hands, so I offer a trade."
Well, if I did, I'd be gentler than you were with that food.
That is some smooth talking, jeez.
Melisandre
He just
raises an
smiles.
eyebrow and says, "What?
Don't worry about it. Go on.
I offer you, in trade for the life debt, my services. You have saved me twice now. Once by leading me to the portal and escaping from Shadowfell, and now twice by saving me from the cellar."
I still have questions about how you came to be this cow you mentioned and these vampires. I'm very interested in these vampires.
Very well. But Korma must be observed. You shall ask, I shall ask, so on
That sounds fine.
You first.
Well, what other what other vampires do you know?
A great many, though I do not know their names.
Hmm.
I try to avoid them when possible.
Before he asks another question, he says, "Your turn."
How did you find your way into the Shadowfell?
Portals. I think it was a portal, right, Josh? It was like a
Yeah, it was.
yeah.
Very well, your turn.
You were their prisoner?
Yes, they caught me when I was unawares, and that is a very difficult thing to do.
Okay.
Why were you fighting a vampire?
Let's see. Him and his lackeys attacked the city, more or less, indirectly, directly. That's why we killed him.
Noble.
We were getting paid. We're mercenaries,
I
As I'm-
see.
I'm sure you know.
I was unawares. Very interesting. Your turn.
What was I gonna ask? Is it obvious that you're just an elf? Because you're very creepy.
So her, you see, when you look over her, you actually see that her cloak is moving, and it's kind of like not very obviously moving, but it seems to kind of almost flicker like a shadow.
Okay. Well, Flick would ask, what skills do you have?
I am an archer. I've hunted many things in the wilds of Shadowfell.
Well, Flick will look around at everyone. What do you guys think?
I mean, I guess we can use the extra help considering where we're going to be going. She hasn't tried to stab anybody yet.
She tries to do this like twisting motion with her mouth into this creepy smile. Like she peels, it almost looks like she's just like curling her lips and forcing the corners of her mouth upwards, and she gives this terrifying smile to Tyrion.
You're really not helping.
Well, I suppose we could take you on, not as a full member, of course, but if you want to tag along for pay this debt you speak of, that's fine. At least with me.
Very well. Is it decided? Why is there some silence? You are all so loud. I take it that the silence is not a good thing.
It's not right thing. Usually means we're indifferent to the situation. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Good.
I will say, try to keep the weird, crazy movements to a minimum, so my friend over here, and he looks to Taryn, doesn't turn you into Korean barbecue.
What is Korea?
she
What is a Korean?
she like gives him snake eyes and says, "That sounds delicious. I would like to see him try."
Flick, like kind of jokingly elbows Turin, like,
Prefer not to. There's wooden floors in the house.
We'll speak up and just be like, wait, you guys are going?
Yes. Didn't we tell you?
Not really.
We're going to get Clara.
Ooh. Can I come with?
You said earlier that you didn't want to.
I think
This
he's.
is not Magnus you're talking
Yeah,
to.
I'm pretty sure you're talking about to Maria, man.
Wait, what the fuck? I'm
Magnus
talking about?
knows. I'll
the
put him.
fuck
I'll
is-
put Magnus over here.
yeah, that confused the fuck out.
I was like, are you changing your opinion, Magnus?
Oh, he's spoken a softer tone. Come on, was I the only one who got this?
I mean, I got that, but just like, I don't.
Well,
He's tired.
well, when two characters you're controlling are present, you know, it helps to specify.
Dragon Man is slow.
Well,
Sorry, Max.
I'll take that as mostly my fault. I did say Maria speaks up at the start, but probably mumbled it.
You definitely did mumble that. I would have noticed.
And yeah, and Maria and Magnus.
Sorry.
We'll start with an M. I don't know. Well, to that, Flick would respond,
Yes, a good cook for the journey. What do you say, Turin?
Sounds pretty good. I can carry most of our tools in the bag.
Unless you have other skills.
and he gives Maria a look up and down.
I could name a few.
Flick gives a
That's
big
not really
grin.
tough.
hmm
Well,
I mean, I
Flick
thought
would
you were
ask
just a chef.
Anyway, put him back.
Flick would ask Magnus what he's going to be doing. Like if he's not going, he said he's not going, so.
Well, we do seem to be planning on going very far away, and I had been meaning to visit my home soon, but while you are gone, you will need someone to look after the house, won't you?
Yes.
I mean,
A few days at a time. It's not a... Yes, but do you really trust her to take care of this place by herself for what could be months? We know no way of getting back right now.
I mean, technically we do. I can just teleport back to the marsh so we can walk back the rest of the way, or if we have other teleportation circles, I could assume there'll probably be a record for the one in water. Considering he has teleportation circle records for a lot of other places, we could probably get back.
It still sounds some distance that we would have to travel on foot.
Yeah, but I can speed that up a lot. Oh my god.
Regardless, I do not think we should leave her here alone.
Alright.
Well, it's settled then.
Is Maria going?
Yes, she's a good cook.
Telling you, man. Even us, we're this hardy and we nearly die every once in a while. Are you sure she'll be able to stand up to anything that happens? Our life ain't no walk in the park.
Would you like to put my skills to the test, Dragonborn?
I mean, I'd like assurance you aren't going to die on us. I hate to have to bury you.
information, then.
Yes, that is a great idea, creepy elf lady. Maria and
My name is Melisandre.
Maria and Melisandre, mud wrestling.
Oh no.
I'm just
That
kidding.
is a good
Why?
idea.
Why in the mud? I do not understand.
It's a guy thing.
It shows off your combat abilities far better.
Yes, it's a hazardous terrain.
But I am skilled with the bow. That does not favor me.
And that shows your combat prowess even more that you're able to overcome the difficulty.
Hand to hand.
God damn it.
And wear white t-shirts
For protection.
so we can identify where you've been struck by muddy hands. And
What are you dumping in our house? What are you building?
An arena.
Everything that we need.
Terran's had a ritual for this the entire game.
He pulls
Just
that
in
back
case.
back.
Dude, don't worry. Once we hit like level 12, I can get Big B's construction crew and I can just have us make shit.
Oh my gosh.
Does the mud have to be inside the house? Couldn't it at least be in the basement?
Get in the mud pit.
I was totally joking, but if you guys do want to roll with this, that's
Oh
cool.
my gosh.
So move that to the basement just in case things get interesting.
Alright, now we have a mud pit.
Oh my god, are we doing this? Are we fucking...
Flick whispers
I mean-
to Tyrion.
I'm pretty sure that both of us agree that it's a fucking ridiculous idea.
Okay.
Flick whispers to Tyrion.
get the recorder book ready.
Don't worry.
You're like, I'm one step ahead of you.
For once. Short, like 3-page book that just sells by the millions.
Is this a common? What is this? Is this a cultural thing? What is going on?
No, you strange woman. They're just being perverted.
Cannot prove that.
You have no evidence to prove this. Also,
Perversion. They are in heat.
Oh god.
oh my god.
Anyways.
I wouldn't go that far.
She,
Flick.
she
Flick,
takes a step back and says,
I do not wish to reproduce at the moment.
Flick says to Tyrion.
You know, I'm really rethinking this whole creepy elf thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
Why don't we go think it over while we mess with magical rocks?
Oh, do you want mine?
I mean, I'm curious to see what happens if we bring them all together.
Here.
oh god. Oh god.
Hopefully I don't blow myself up. Let's go. Taking the rocks with me downstairs.
Melisandre, having no idea where to go, just follows.
Those are what caused the explosion, too be careful. I don't want to have to clean this place up after you. I guess I
Don't
could
worry.
tell Sylvia to do it.
Flick is very interested in these gems.
Yeah, let's arrange them in a nice trigram. Oh, put them in the mud pit. Put them in the mud pit. They don't go over it. Wait, they do. No, they don't. They don't.
No, they don't.
Unfortunately.
It's too
How
bad.
could you go-
Put the mud pit in the corner for now.
Okay. So, well, I mean, for starters, I guess let's just try pushing them all together.
Oh, you just push all together?
Yeah.
Alright.
I look back at Maria and I say, "Do not stare at the rocks. The rocks do not like being stared at."
What would a rock care?
Sentient rocks.
This is
This plane
versus your
is so
will.
strange.
Oh.
That might not actually hit.
Versus your will.
Let me look. Oh damn, that beats it back too.
Ha! Alright. Tyrion, you freeze in place and your mind goes blank.
Wow. For how long?
You're kind of frozen standing there. And like what you see when you're watching Tyrion, it's kind of like he's slowly channeling into these three stones as he holds them together.
That's not fucking good.
Okay.
Oh god.
Am I summoning a demon in our basement?
I'm gonna assume that he knows what he's doing. Unless I don't think he's
Alright, so
doing something on purpose. I don't know.
okay. With that, you could actually see blood start to hemorrhage out of his hand. Tyrion, you lose 3 healing surges.
Jesus
Oh.
Christ.
Crap.
And let's see.
Fuck these magical rocks, man.
This will be an intellect DC. This
Oh, that's unfair.
it's cursed artifacts, man. So roll me that. And
Oh, intellect.
Intellect with your full bonuses.
Oh yeah, wow, it's still
And this
isn't
is
intellect.
this is a charm in a way, so that you would get the bonus if you had that.
Not too bad.
Alright, so you barely managed to pull out of this stupor, and you realize, like, as you slowly pull out of pretty much what blackness, whatever sucked you in, you could hear a small whisper in Draconic, like, fresh blood. And that's said inside of your mind, and you look down and you realize that the gemstones had opened up the base layer of your scales on your hands, and you bleeding into them.
What does it look like they're doing? Are they just like absorbing the blood?
Absorbing the blood. You could see the lights inside of the gems slowly getting brighter.
I mean, considering the last time they got bright, they also exploded. Part of me doesn't want to do this. But another part of me is thinking, Clara did a similar thing when she grabbed her sword. Didn't she?
Yeah, she recited the small verse and gave blood into the fang that she had found.
Because I'm thinking this is probably necessary for whatever the hell's gonna happen next.
Repeat
now
the
that-
verse.
Yeah, I'm gonna try repeating the verse.
Alright. So you repeat the verse, would be common or what?
Draconic.
Alright. So you repeat it in Draconic, and you hear in 3 echoing voices is like, set us on the crown.
Oh.
Just
On the crown?
It whispers again, like, set us on the crown.
What did it say, Taryn? Or is this like a mental thing?
It's a mental thing. It's
Okay.
only Tyrion's gonna hear this.
I'm gonna ask in Draconic what crown.
And you just get the same repeating question as a set us on the crown.
With that, I'm gonna try to draw away and probably back away as fast as I can in the fear that it's going to explode.
Alright. So, you set the 3 down, and obviously they're still together. It's almost like they're pulling towards each other at this point, now that you've released them from your hands. Any blood that had come from your hands is pulled immediately into the gems.
Ugh.
And you slowly see like what looks like a small flame start. It looks almost like a bonfire at first. There's a mixture of just pure black purple flame, and you can feel this chill fill the room. And it slowly swirls out bigger and bigger to about 5-foot radius until it fills like the entire square in that space. And you see it slowly sink back in and getting more and more dense. And then it just puffs out, and you feel an extremely cool breeze. Nothing enough to hurt anyone, but almost feels like a negative wind chill in a way. And then the stones just sit inert again.
Do you know what you are doing, Dragon Man?
Not really. That's generally why you mess with cursed artifacts, to figure out what they do.
I would think that would be why you don't.
I'm kind of stupid.
Clearly.
The dragon is just like, yeah, he did this earlier and blew himself up with one.
What have I gotten myself into?
For a lot of fun. I'm gonna pick them all up and be like, and walk over to Flick.
So, as you're walking, it's beyond normal sight. As soon as you step onto the stone, there's a sheen of ice that you didn't see, and it warms up and cracks, and then you could just see the ice crack all the way to the gems. It was completely out of sight. You couldn't see it at all until you stepped on it.
Oh, it was that clear, that pure. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, so fire, ice, and question mark make ice. Yeah, alright. I'm gonna go walk over to Flit and give him back his too, and just explain to him what I heard.
Okay, when you tell me that, I say,
I wonder what crown they were talking about. Did you think maybe the crown of your head?
I don't know if I'd want those things sitting on my head. It's probably a bad idea.
Right.
Meanwhile, Tyrion's hands are still dripping blood a little bit.
Also, by the way, the blood thing was involuntary. It took control of me for a minute.
Melisandre walks forward rather quickly, and he'll check. Is that enough?
A heal check? Oh yeah, there's more than me.
Okay. Bandages his hands.
Thanks. I mean, just a bit of blood loss. Nothing I haven't dealt with before.
Just lost three of your surges.
Also, Flick, we should not bring them together again until we figure out whatever this crown is. They did not seem to want to answer any questions.
We need to talk to Clara.
That's probably a good idea. Since we didn't ask the king for help, I guess we're going to be going with the medium range circle.
So,
We also need to go into town and buy a shitload of food and water because we're going to be going to a desert.
Yeah.
so
You are traveling to desert.
oh no! After thirsting and starving to death, that's the greatest thing.
Don't worry, these bags, they're pretty much bottomless. I can carry like 18 barrels of water in it.
Yes,
Just
I
why don't you
have.
come with us? Sand.
Yes, I have one
I
as
hate
well.
sand.
Gets
Sand is
It's
great.
rough and it gets everywhere.
You've become more edgy, Maria.
It's almost as if you're becoming defined as a character. Do you notice anything different about her? Like, suddenly she seems to have skill traits and...
Magnus's excuse for not being there is just, I hate sand. Of course, it's rough. It's everywhere. It's like,
No, you
if
got
it's bad,
Anakin, stop.
It's not fun.
It could be fun.
You know, sand gets into your clothes. It's like that, but over your whole body.
So, I just learned how to teleport. We're already using it. Also, by the way, was there a destination for Waterdeep on the scroll that we filched?
As you pour over it, you would imagine the ones directly to Waterdeep are probably with the king, but you can actually get as far as the Ardeep Forest, which is extremely close. It's
Yeah, that's
just
enough for me.
across
I just wanted to
the
make sure
river.
we could get back.
Yeah, it's just across the river.
Manifesting this portal is going to be really funny because I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep it open.
Imagine you like open it and you're like, "Alright, guys, ready to go?" And then it just closes again. You're like,
No, like, it's going to be like 1 to 2 rounds, like, with a decent Arcana check. You can take your full turn, so we just all have to, like, run through it once. It's going to be really messy.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
I just mean like the first time you do it, you've got no clue. It's not gonna last at all. Just create the portal, turn around. Is everyone ready? Portal closes.
Oh, 10 minutes of concentration.
Alright, I'm gonna do it again. Everyone get ready. As soon as it opens, just run through.
Also, I'd imagine the people on the other side of the portal can have a lot of questions, considering, a teleportation circle is expensive as fuck. It's probably not anywhere but a decently guarded location. But it's a shortcut. Alright.
So, when are we leaving?
Probably tomorrow.
Is there a forest I can lay my head?
There's beds upstairs. Do those count?
Beds. Very well.
Alright.
She's gonna have to take Rowan's room.
Well, she doesn't know which one's Rowan's room, so she just goes to the nearest one, which would be Tyrion's, I think.
No. That room is bad. That room is very dangerous.
How so?
I experiment with cursed artifacts in here. You saw how that goes.
Oh. I would not prefer that.
I prefer that. It's not very much fun. Wow.
Then what room can I take?
The recently vacated next door. Was Ron's room next door? I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I was.
Because I didn't usually, pan through everybody else's rooms, so. The one next door should be free for the night.
Very well.
They usually have beds in the Shadowfell.
Depending on where you are.
She, is that, wait, did you ask her that?
Yeah.
She, raises an eyebrow and goes,
My bed were the branches of trees and the hard ground.
I imagine you'd enjoy this a lot, then. I forgot the familiar in the basement. Wait, did I forget him? Where the hell is he?
and if anyone were to come into her room, she's, rearranged the furniture so that they're all lined up against, like, near the door, and she is just sitting down, staring at the door at the corner of the room.
So furniture would be in the south wall.
Yeah, it would be like this, right? So there's only one way into the room.
Oh.
I don't imagine she could move the bed by herself.
Well, it's wood. It's not like it's steel.
I see.
You could slide it. You just hear.
Window of escape. God damn.
So that's a good space to end at, especially just before leaving and through the portal.
I'm sad that I couldn't use her for the palace sneaking stuff. Oh, the plus 21 to sneak would have been so useful.
The
Oh.
thievery would have been dangerous, though.
Let's see. My thievery is 10. It wasn't that bad.
Well, I didn't have trouble with the sneaking part.
That's true. That's
Just
true.
the thievery.
Yeah, both. Yeah, no. What do you guys think?
That voice, doesn't that hurt your throat? How are you gonna keep that up?
I'd love to stay up and talk, but I physically need to go to sleep. I have to get up in like 4
All right.
hours. So.
Have a good night.
Good night, man.
Thank you for sticking it out.
No,
Yeah, no. It actually doesn't hurt as much as I thought it would, but it is going. I have this giant mug of water next to me so that I can keep hydrated.
Oh yeah, you doing a whisper voice like that would dry the fucking hell out of your voice.
But it is not as bad as you would think.
Yeah, oh man. That was funny when Nick was like, yeah, don't do that. I will roast you. I will burn you to a crisp.
I love how the first interaction is waterboarding her.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, we were just trying to give her something to drink,
Yeah, true.
but,
While tied to
kind
a
of
chair.
brutishly. Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
We were just giving him a drink.
Dude, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh.
we
It's
could have
aw-
been a bit more subtle about that.
It's awesome to see Flick change so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've
like-
been having a lot of fun seeing those changes happen as it goes.
Yeah.
To turn down the queen.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
That's takes some. Although his he's gotten better at common now, so he can he can share,
Communicate a
Yeah.
bit better.
he can share with us his perverted thoughts.
Yeah. It was fun, like doing the could barely talk stuff, but like,
got
there's so
brutal.
much I want to say. Like,
Yep.
I need to speak. Like,
Yeah.
it's not.
It just reached a point where it got really fucking brutal.
Yeah. Especially with so much going on in the plot. Like, I really, Flick has to, like, he wants to be a part in certain things, and so he has to speak.
Oh, Kekla with his own drawer, I would imagine, for a bed.
What? About a drawer?
Tyrion's dragon familiar, like
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Thing.
Kekalak, the white dragon.
Yeah. So Rozzy, what's with what's her name? Sarah? What?
Maria?
Maria, yeah. Like, is that? I thought your your other character isn't like something else.
You have been thoroughly tricked.
You've been swaffadonk, son.
Those really high disguise checks, right, or bluff checks.
But okay. I thought Maria was human though.
She is.
Yeah.
Why, are you suspicious?
Well, now I am.
Would you like to roll an insight versus bluff?
No, because I'm horrible at that. But
There's always a chance you'll roll high.
wish it was a different skill. But
Unfortunately, that's what the rules state it is. Oh, that scene. I was sitting there, I'm like, oh, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna sleep with the queen?
That's how you see through lies, Ken, with insight.
yeah, I know. But just if you're maintaining a disguise for like ever, that's a little bit unrealistic.
I mean,
So how do you do that? Because we would recognize the other chick. You can't just like.
but
style your
but to
hair
be fair, like we only saw her for like once. Like I would completely agree with you if we saw her like multiple times, but we saw that girl like once.
Yeah, but I don't know. Flick didn't trust that random assassin who helped them out. I think he'd remember her.
If anything, I would say the voice is what would be very
That's
like
true.
difficult to hide.
Yeah,
Voices would be extremely.
you can't really change that unless you have some spells or something.
But who knows? Maybe she has a good like Valley Girl impression.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Like, I'm totally going with them.
Oh man, I can't wait to talk more with everyone like about just random stuff.
Yeah.
This is gonna be great. And combat, I can't wait for combat too. She's gonna be interesting.
She's great at imitating other voices.
Oh, really? Morel is?
Sure.
Oh, and
I was just
actually,
gonna say, like, that would make sense for disguising voices, is you'd have to be really good at.
so the original plan for her was to have her like for you guys to find her in the basement, right? But like a day before. You guys slipped over at the King's Palace. Oh my god.
Unexpected events happen.
Yeah, so she just starved.
No, we have to use revive on the first party member. Dun dun dun. It's gonna be such an entertaining next session.
Just but hang on, I get the token. You look at the two of them, they're not very different.
Nope.
Yeah, they do look kind of similar.
Oh, it's Hunter. My God, I never knew.
But if they look similar, then I would recognize her, right? Like, or you'd be even more like reminded of that one chick that we met.
You can question her and get multiple insight checks.
Yeah. Drill her.
This-
Drill her.
Maybe Josh will let you have a bonus.
the side stuff that I was doing with Razi, I rolled like 3 insight checks and just failed all of them.
I'll be back in a second because I just had dinner. I need to wash my hands.
Okay.
It was pizza. It was food.
Well, like insights for like the social aspect to see through like the how well you're hiding the social part of it. But I think perception, if you're passing off like physical parts.
That's fair.
It's like the dog form of dogness. Dogness is insight versus bluff.
Oh, so it's one of those things where mechanics outrule the realism aspect of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That dog is drinking a beer. Bluff check. Oh no, it's just a dog.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I'd say that there'd be a bit more of an advantage towards Flick's side, considering how close they are.
If you drill her for questions now, I suppose I could bump it up as long as you keep drilling questions.
I mean, my insight's horrible. It's impossible, but
What is
like-
your insight?
5, maybe? I don't know, guessing.
so, but like I was reading the description and it says that insight is the social aspect of perception for like seeing through for the disguises and stuff. But like I don't know. It feels so weird. Like she could like look exactly the same, but as long as she sounds different, I won't know the difference. An extreme example.
Well, no, because you'd have your suspicions. They just you wouldn't be sure, right? Because insight is to be sure that something like that she's obvious or that she's disguised, right? But
Yeah.
you could perceive you could perceive. I guess if I was doing it, I would say you could maybe perceive flaws in her costume. I guess that would make sense with perception, but to see through the disguise itself, insight makes a lot of sense because it needs to be some sort of like piecing the puzzle together. Like there might be a bunch of little things that don't make sense, but to put it all together and like realize like, hey, this is not.
I'll say right now.
Because I don't know about you, like I see like a lot of people every day, and I definitely do not remember all of their faces.
Then there's always the issue of like dead ringers. Like I've seen people who look exactly like another, and their voice is completely different. And I'm like, oh, that's definitely not a person.
Yeah.
So,
I have a friend called Luke, and I've seen like 10 doppelgangers that look exactly like him.
Yeah, I've noticed
Right
that.
right down to the beard.
yeah.
I've noticed that every race is kind of like
Whenever I can, I'll like try and get a sneaky photo and send it to Luke. And I'll be like, I found you at wherever today. And he'll be like, shit, you got me.
But yeah, like double takes and dead ringers are not too uncommon.
I like that this blue gem you have is a love heart.
Yep. The heart.
Oh, that's very interesting. So in Pathfinder, it's opposed by perception.
Oh, they changed it then.
That's very well. No, I'm just in Pathfinder. I'm just. That's very interesting.
Disguises would be Well, that's because they have like for actual like lying and shit, you get sense motive instead.
Oh, that's true. That's true. The skills are a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Sense motive doesn't really work for seeing through disguises.
Do it. Slay him.
I will say the biggest difference, like between the two of them, is that Maria looks a lot younger.
Yeah.
That's possible. What the fuck? I would basically like this whole thing. I'm thinking of Superman. Like he puts on his glasses and hunches, and nobody recognizes him.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I know it's gonna bug you, but them's the rules, man. I'll allow the bending of a little bit of getting a bonus to, like for the insight thing, but can't really change the insight and perception area. Insight is like your own.
It's
Sherlock.
more likely, like connecting the appearance of the two would be more likely to result in sisters.
Yeah. One's a fan, the other's a fan. One makes sandwiches, the other's a killer. Makes sense.
One's really cheery and excitable. The other one just kind of stood around and was like, "Oh, all right."
Actually, I'm curious, Rozzy. When